he has apologised for the council's failings. A new code of conduct for stop and search powers has been adopted by police forces across the country, but critics say the changes do not go far enough to address the disproportionate number of searches of people from black and other ethnic minority communities. Si in Luton has been stopped and searched and is glad the rules are being tightened.
Well, it's kind of frustrating because at the same time it's not pulling me over for a valid reason. Yeah. So at the end of the day, it's like it's not really nice feeling, if you get what I'm trying to say. It's like someone accusing you of something and you know you haven't done it. But with the stop and search thing, they've got the powers there to just stop and search you, and I think that's really wrong.
The Local Government Association says councils have been forced to cut back on school repairs because of a shortfall of £1 billion for school places in England. Nearly 80 councils complained that the Department for Education had failed to provide enough funding between 2011 and 2016. A 16-year-old from Watford is due to appear before St Albans Youth Court today, charged with murder. The victim, Akil Khan, was found injured on Friday afternoon and taken to Watford General Hospital, where he died a short time later. Tony Fisher has more.
The injured 18-year-old was found in Croxley View at around 4:30 p.m. on Friday. A 15-year-old male, also from Watford, who was also arrested as part of the investigation, has been charged with a fray and has been bailed to appear before St Albans Youth Court on the 10th of September. Two further male youths who were also arrested as part of the investigation.
20 Celsius. And get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3counties.
BBC Three Counties Radio's big tour of beds, hearts and bucks.
People work well together, there's a nice feeling, they're friendly people, people do smile at each other on the street.
It's all about where you live.
Yeah, it's got the basics, but it's surrounded by some beautiful countryside, beautiful history.
All this week, we're featuring Aylesbury.
Very pretty with all the hanging baskets they've done this year.
The big tour of beds, hearts and bucks. BBC Three Counties Radio.
I'm going to do a thing. I forgot to get the thing ready. I'm going to do a thing. Going to do a little thing. Yeah. Hang on. No, hang on, don't work in that CD player. Going to do a thing. I'm going to do a thing.
OK, it's better be a good thing because it's quite a build-up.
Yeah, I'm going to do a thing.
Show me what that is you're putting in.
It's a compact disc.
Right.
Did you say that to everyone who's putting something in something? Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
I find it pays to ask.
You can never be too sure these days.
So?
Here comes the thing.
OK. Go.
Chuggy muggy delicious!
You see, you scallies, it was worth it, wasn't it?
Totally.
Wasn't it, Kels? The other lady? Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. It's Wednesday, deal with that, suckers. I said suckers. Lots coming up on the show this morning, including Stop und Search, Dogs und Cats, and MK Don's 4, Man United 0.
That'll do, yeah.
Yeah, it'll do, wouldn't it?
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Kelly Betts.
That song that you wanted,
Yeah.
we don't have.
Yes, we do.
No, we don't.
We do.
We've got every other song by the Apples in.
You haven't got... flipping it. Hang on a minute. So you haven't got... What song did I ask for?
The Bird That You Can't See.
The Bird That You Can't See.
No, we don't have it.
Have you got Go? So you got every other song you said, apart from the two that I've requested.
Hang on, we might have Go. Just keep your hair on.
Go.
Why do people say that?
Yeah, where does that come from? Keep your hair on.
Oh, we've got Go.
Wigs would have become in the olden days. If you got scared, you'd have taken your wig off to fan your face.
Or
to fight.
Yeah, to fight. Yeah. Yeah, that's you use a wig to fan your face. Anything else? Hey, hands up this morning. Who's already stopped to fight today? Oh, I kept that quiet from you guys upstairs, didn't I?
What happened?
I will tell you.
Oh.
After we've listened to the Apples.
Oh, really? You want it in right this second?
In stereo.
I'm just checking the lyrics to see if
with
they're
their hit
radio friendly. You're going to be doing that for ages.
even nearly there.
Ooh, forget it then.
Wait, I am.
Ooh! Darren's going to be loving it this morning.
Oh.
Ah, blessed. I stopped to fight this morning. I will tell you the details of it. It was the most amazing scene I've ever witnessed.
Where was this fight happening?
Right outside my house.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was it between you and someone else?
Two cats.
Yes, admittedly, Catherine, it was between two cats.
Ah, you.
But I came out, it was the most god-awful noise.
Wait, you can tell them after...
Well, Catherine's ruined it.
Sorry.
You play Apples in Stereo and their track.
Go.
Play it now, now.
I like the mushy peas.
When you go into the shop, lady watches like a cop. You know you wanna go, babe. The moment that you get there, baby. She don't like the way you look, so she treats you like crook. You know you wanna go, baby. The moment that you get there, baby. You're such a pretty, pretty, pretty little girl. Let's blow this ugly, ugly, ugly little world.
Miss.
Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Now, they told us... Oh, let me go to the top of this and it'll make things a bit easier. Back in May, I met two young lads from Luton, Mika and Nathan, who were complaining that they and their mates were constantly being stopped and searched by police. They told us it was quite usual not to be given a reason and claimed that the police paperwork they were given afterwards was rarely filled in properly. Well, they all suspected they were being targeted because of their colour, something they were keen to put to Bedfordshire Police Superintendent Dave Boyle.
Okay, I just want to ask, how much do you acknowledge that there are some officers in Bedfordshire Police who respond based on stereotypical views of young black men?
when you look at the the training that the officers go through, this is one thing that we are very keen to make sure that officers do not base their decisions upon their preconceived notions or stereotyping of any members of our community, whether that's based on their age, whether that's based on their ethnicity, their religion, their gender, whatever it is. And that they actually, and I go back to where I came in earlier on, is that particularly around the use of stop search or treatment of any, or the use of any powers by a police officer, that is based on information and intelligence first and foremost, and that is acted upon by the officers properly and proportionately under all circumstances, and that any notion of stereotyping or preconceived notions about a specific demographic or anybody from an ethnic background, there's just no place for it.
Well, we can speak now to Rachel Taylor, who's a solicitor and member of a charity called Stopwatch. Morning, Rachel.
Hi, good morning.
What the police officer was saying there, we know that more young black men are stopped and searched than anyone else, don't we?
Yes, absolutely. For stop and searches generally, a black person is 4 times more likely than a white person to be stopped. And for particular searches, such as exceptional powers, Section 60, a black person is 23 times more likely to be stopped.
So what is Section 60, exceptional powers? What does that mean?
Section 60 is a measure that can be put into place for a time-limited duration, where there's concern about violence in a particular area or people carrying offensive weapons. And what that means is essentially that anybody in that area can be stopped and searched by a police officer without having reasonable grounds to suspect that individual of having anything on their person or being responsible for any crime.
So this new code of conduct that the government is introducing, what exactly is it saying?
Well, there are 4 primary measures that are being introduced. So in relation to Section 60, they're increasing the requirements for authorisation for a Section 60 to be put into place. So the level of officer that needs to authorise that has been increased to a senior officer, so at least an assistant chief constable or assistant commander. They're also limiting the amount of time from 24 hours down to 15 hours. And also changing a little bit about the requirements, so increasing the threshold.
There will be some people listening, Rachel, who are saying, well, young black men are more likely to be involved in drug crime and violent crime, so of course it's right that there are a disproportionate number of them stopped and searched. What's the argument against that?
Well, I just don't think that's proven by the relevant research at all. There's no evidence whatsoever to show that black people, stop and searches of black people have a higher hit rate than of white people whatsoever. And I mean the effectiveness of stop and search in itself can be seriously called into question. Only 1 in 10 stop and searches results in an arrest, and for Section 60, that's reduced down to only 5% of Section 60 stop and searches results in an arrest.
I suppose it could be argued, just kind of playing devil's advocate, it could be argued that if you're getting any arrests out of it, then it shows that to a certain extent it is worth doing.
Well, the thing is about the arrest data that we have, and that's another thing that's being introduced by these new measures, is that we're hopefully going to get better data and more informative data out of the stop and searches, but the arrest itself may not be linked to the reason for the stop and search in itself, and more often than not it's not. So, for example, someone may be arrested for obstructing the police or something entirely unrelated to the reason for the initial search, so it's a difficult measure of effectiveness.
Rachel, I appreciate your time this ridiculous hour of the morning. Thank you very much. Rachel Taylor, solicitor, member of a charity called Stopwatch. So, young black men, as we know, are stopped and searched more than anyone else. Fair? Yes or no? Very simple question. Is that fair? Does that offend you? 08459 455 555. Let's get the travel. Here's Samantha.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Having a look on the roads on the speed sensor this morning, and there's no reported problems, though it's looking a little bit slow through on the M25 through the roadworks at between junctions junctions 25 for Enfield and junctions 27 for the M11 through the roadworks where there's speed restrictions of 50 miles an hour in place there. On the A411 Watford Road in both directions in Elstree, it's a close roadworks and between the A41 North Avenue at the Watford bypass. That could cause some problems later on, but not causing any hold-ups so far on the speed sensors. But on the trains, the Metropolitan line into London from Amersham, Chesham and Watford has severe delays because of a signal failure earlier on at Rickmansworth. The next...
It'll be in about 15 minutes, Samantha. Don't worry. It'll be about 15 minutes.
First one.
And you
15 minutes. The next one's in 15 minutes. BBC Three Counties Radio.
You did it superbly, Samantha. Thank you very much. That was her first one. She does it again, she's fired. It's a joke. It's a joke. She was excellent. Thank you, Samantha. 6:17. It's Wednesday, the 27th of August. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. New stop and search rules are adopted by police forces across the country. The MK Dons dealt a blow to Manchester United last night, defeating them 4-0. And in sport, a control order has been brought in part of Buckinghamshire after a cat was mauled to death by 3 dogs.
BBC Three Counties Radio. If you've missed any of the programmes from the last week, you've missed things like this.
We've been talking in the studio about the language that people use around illness, chronic illness, things like cancer.
But there is a way you can hear it all again.
If someone dies and if their treatment doesn't work, it's because somehow they felt negative about having a severe illness.
bbc.co.uk/Three Counties Radio.
And there is absolutely no evidence whatsoever that anybody's mental attitude has any bearing on how they recover.
Allowing you to listen to what you missed. bbc.co.uk/Three Counties Radio.
yes, please. Now, a control order is being brought in one Buckinghamshire village after a nasty incident involving 3 dogs and a cat. The provisional move in Haddenham will see restrictions put on where dogs can be taken and whether they need to be kept on a lead. Well, Bill Lambert is the Health and Breeder Services Manager at the Kennel Club, the UK's largest organisation dedicated to protecting dogs and promoting their health and welfare. Morning, Bill.
Good morning.
Bill, we're seeing more of these kind of dog orders being considered. Is it a good thing?
No, I don't think it is. I think it's enormous pressure on dog owners where they can walk their dogs. We're seeing, dog owners restricted to more and more areas and obviously dog owners have responsibility to exercise their pets.
But they also, the responsibility to protect children, old people and other animals as well, don't they? And if that's not being done, then I guess perhaps the rules do need to be stricter.
I think, obviously, there's been an incident here, which is a very tragic incident. A poor cat's been killed, and that is it's obviously awful. But I don't think that for one incident you should affect a whole load of other dog owners. We have to take into account the needs of everybody in the local area, and there's quite a lot. These areas that I've looked at the maps of these areas, there's quite a significant amount of space that now dog owners are not allowed to take their dogs. Now, it may be that now dog owners have to drive several miles to take their dogs and give them just basic exercise, which does not seem right.
Well, I'll play devil's advocate with you, as I did with the last guest. Tough. If it means that my boys, for example, my 2 little boys, 4 and 2, are safer as a result of that, well, that's a good thing.
There's no evidence here that there's been any risk to children at all, Ian. This is one incident.
But there have been other incidents where children have been attacked or scared by dogs, haven't there?
Yes, there have, but you can't. These are very, very rare incidents. They are very uncommon, and actually more incidents take place. Attacks with dogs that take place on private property, and they are as a result of responsible ownership. I think that the vast majority of dog owners are very responsible and do, make sure their dogs are under control at all times.
Do you think that the vast majority of dog owners are responsible? Because lots of them, let's be honest, they've got these dogs as an extension of their willies, and lots of them are scumbags, aren't they?
I think you're being completely unfair now. There's around about 10 million dogs in the UK. The incidents we see are a very tiny minority. Yes, there is an issue with what you're referring to there is status dogs, but this is a very small percentage of people, and this is really a social problem rather than a dog problem.
Is there a compromise, Bill? What do you think should be done?
Yes, of course there's a compromise, and what the local residents need to do in this case is make sure they do contact the local authority. Local councils often don't realise that they'll make a sweeping order based on what seems like common sense to them, but they don't actually realise who is using those open spaces. And they sometimes there is a danger that there's a complete overreaction due to 1 or 2 incidents that actually does affect a whole raft of people. So the needs of all the local residents need to be taken into account. That's dog owners and non-dog owners.
Dog owners, that will be a minority though of the local residents, and I know because we've done this before. I know for a fact we'll get loads of people phoning up today, Bill, saying, "Well, I went out and I was attacked by a dog, and my little boy was attacked by a dog, and my little I'm trying to think of a tiny dog, a Chihuahua, was attacked by a bigger dog." These things do happen, and I know it's the minority of dogs and owners, of course it is, but when they happen, they're flipping horrible.
Oh, absolutely right. And of course, then you need to take the local situation into account. And all we're asking is, in this case, the local situation does need to be taken into account. It does, as I say, I've looked at the maps of these areas, and it looks like there's an awful lot, a very large area that actually is being restricted from dog owners. And actually, you may find that dog owners are the vast majority of people who use those areas.
Bill, why don't you ditch the dogs and get a cat? Come on.
I've got cats, Ian. I've got cats and dogs. All live happily together.
And the cats are better than the dogs. You know that, Bill. Deep in your heart, you know that.
Dog owners and cat owners can often have the same needs from their animals, and those needs are fulfilled by those animals.
Bill, it's nice to talk to you this morning. Thank you very much indeed. Bill Lambert from the Kennel Club. Your thoughts, please. I know we talk about dogs a lot on this station, don't we? Your thoughts on that, please. So, I came out of my house this morning late, 4:45.
It's outrageous.
I used to leave at 4:15. I left at 4:45. And it was the most awful noise I've ever heard. Not the most awful noise I've ever heard. That was a fox rutting. A fox rutting sounds like, sounds like a baby being
Yeah.
Sounds like a baby being murdered. It does. It's the fox.
Have you heard a frog scream?
No, I've not heard a frog scream.
That's a similar...
Oh, no, I've heard it on YouTube. Do you remember we looked them up on YouTube? We spent the morning looking up frog screaming.
Yeah, and turtles.
I've not heard turtles. Have you ever heard a moth scream?
Yes!
Isn't it awful? I thought that someone had broken into my house once. It was the cat was killing a moth and the moth was screaming.
Horrible.
Yeah. Help! I'm sure it said that. I'm sure it... But so this... I thought it was one cat. I thought a cat was dying in my street. That's not bad.
Kung Fu. He's taking a running kick.
He was doing a bit of Jackie Chan. And so I thought, I'm going to go and find a dying cat. And I went out and I walked out past the sort of bush. We have a bush, and in the street, and then there's just two cats just looking at each other, and they both looked up at me, really sheepish.
They do.
Oh, busted.
Rumbled.
One of the most pathetic sights. Anyway, I said to myself, I said to the cats, "Hey lads, come on, enough of this."
Leave it, it's not worth it.
Do you know what the most pathetic sight in the world is? Locking eyes with a cat when it's doing a whoopsie.
Oh, I know.
Oh, it's heartbreaking because they feel ashamed, you feel embarrassed.
My sister's cat will slowly turn its back.
Well, it's the saddest thing when I catch my Velvet doing a whoopsie and we lock eyes. Everyone feels so uncomfortable. We don't talk about it afterwards.
Elvis isn't keen.
Who's Elvis?
My sister's cat.
Oh, okay. Well, if the real Elvis had locked eyes with someone when he was doing a whoopsie, he might still be here today.
Oh, poor lad.
Poor lad. Something to think about there. Elvis on the toilet.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Having a look on the speed sensor still, and it's still moving fairly well at the moment. Looking at the A505 though, coming into Hitchin from Carter's Lane, it's looking a little bit slow there, and also on the M25 anti-clockwise it's slow just after junction 19 for Watford. Coming into London on the A406 North Circular Road, it's very slow southbound around the Iron Bridge on the CCTV cameras, and on the trains, the Metropolitan line into London from Amersham and Chesham have severe delays, and there's minor delays from Watford. That's because of a signal failure earlier on at Rickmansworth. I'm Samantha Braff for BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 6:30, I'm Jane Killick. A new code of conduct for stop and search powers has been adopted by the police, but critics say the changes don't go far enough to address the numbers of searches of people from ethnic minority communities. A 16-year-old from Watford is due to appear before St Albans Youth Court today, charged with murder. The victim, Akil Khan, was found injured on Friday afternoon and died in hospital a short time later. A dog control order has been brought in Haddenham near Aylesbury. It's after a cat was mauled to death by 3 dogs. The weather, dry and bright with possible sunny spells. On to sport, and the MK Dons have thrashed Manchester United in a thrilling match at the Stadium MK. They kicked the Premier League side out of the League Cup and sailed through to the third round with an impressive 4-0 scoreline. BBC Three Counties Radio sports editor Jeff Doyle was watching.
Here's Afobe, and Evans is struggling. Afobe takes him on. Still going Afobe. Still going Afobe. Afobe is in here and scores! 4-0 MK Dons! It's a humiliation for Manchester United, and it is unbelievable for MK Dons.
The winning goal there scored by Benik Afobe, his second goal of the evening. The other 2 goals were scored by Will Grigg. MK Dons manager Carl Robinson says it's a proud moment for the club and the players.
I went in the dressing room, the cameras came in to film 1 or 2 things, and everyone's just sort of in a slight state of shock. It'd be a night that we won't forget for a long, long time. I'm proud of my team. I really am. I'm proud of my football club as well. I think Milton Keynes, certainly if we went on the map 10 years on, we're certainly on the football map now.
Watford were also playing in the League Cup, but they were knocked out. They lost 2-1 at home to Doncaster. Watford's goalkeeping coach, Alex Chamberlain, was naturally disappointed.
We were delighted, obviously, to get through a really tough fixture at Stevenage, and then to get a home tie against a side, in the league below. It should have led for us to going through into the third round, and it hasn't. We're all disappointed, obviously, particularly I am for Bondi. Obviously, doesn't get a chance to play any further games at this moment in time. There'll be other players on the field as well in that situation.
BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next bulletin is at 7.
Call 08459 455 555. 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Go on. Morning.
There's a monkey in the papers. Former monkey. No, he'll always be a monkey.
He'll always be a monkey. There was a thing when they tried to deny they were ever monkeys. I used to be a monkey. I'm not now a monkey.
Come on, Mickey. Mickey Dolenz.
Spelled his name wrong.
Oh, yeah, they did. What did they do that for?
Because everyone does.
They were so pleased with themselves for writing monkey right. That's why.
Yeah.
Anyway, former monkey Mickey Dolenz, pictured, revealed that he's a DIY fanatic who does all his own plumbing, electrical work and household repairs and has converted the garage of his Los Angeles home into a workshop.
This is in the newspapers, guys.
Hey, he's got the time to do that. He's loaded.
Yeah.
He's joined forces with the youngest of his 4 daughters, Georgia,
Yeah.
30, and started a handmade furniture company called Dolenz and Daughters.
I nearly bought a box. I did nearly buy a box and I didn't.
Why? Too expensive.
Yeah. And it's a box.
The singer and drummer, 69, whose other claim... Is he only 69?
Yeah.
Whose other claim to fame was once producing 1980 show Metal Mickey. I loved that show.
Beady, beady, beady. Oh, no, that was Buck Rogers. What did Metal Mickey say? Boogie, boogie, boogie. That's what Metal Mickey said.
He's already designed a mahogany guitar stand shaped like a treble clef.
Yeah.
Not just a daydream believer then.
Hey.
Oh, dear.
Ooh. Always excites me to see a monkey in the paper.
Yeah.
Excites me.
Yeah. Kate Bush went on stage yesterday.
Oh, she didn't sing the hits.
Didn't she?
She didn't do Wuthering Heights or Babushka,
She does what she wants. I think we all knew that about Kate Bush, didn't we?
My sister went. I wonder if I'll text her.
Ask her how my ticket went down.
Yeah.
Because I was standing outside like Piffy, waiting for it to turn up.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Dressed as Babushka.
You've still got the costume on.
Thank goodness for the cape.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of how
I love her.
Was the Bush. I'm not a fan of her.
Why? How can you not?
I don't like her.
There seems to be a male-female divide.
Oh.
What, men don't get her?
Oh.
I love Kate Bush. I don't.
Is it because she's a strong, independent woman? So are Destiny's Children.
Well, I don't know. They were still shaking it, weren't they?
Yeah. I don't understand why Beyoncé claims to be such a devout Christian and a strong, independent woman, and yet dresses like a prostitute.
Her knees seem to give way an awful lot these days. She's always rolling them knees.
Oh, her knees, yeah. I've seen Beyoncé live a couple of times, and it's like watching a pornographic. It's like going to a classy strip joint.
Which is why you've seen her more than once. She's a fine-looking woman. She's an excellent performer. She's no Kate Bush.
I tell you who's no Kate Bush, Tori Amos.
Well,
I interviewed her once. I was like speaking to a cloud. It was just nothing there. Well, my car broke down in Ireland. This is what she said. My car broke down in Ireland once, and it was fixed by fairies. All right, Tori, yeah, all right, yeah. Tell us about your new song. That was what she was like. You silly sausage. Airy fairy.
She's good at playing the piano, though, isn't she?
Can you say easy peasy Japanesey anymore?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can still say that. Okay.
I think so.
Good.
You're not being detrimental.
Well, you're saying that the Japanese are easy peasy.
Well
lemon squeezy.
Didn't mean like that. So page 3 of the Daily Mail.
It's me, Kathy, I've come home and died. So let me tonight.
My favourite one is it's just so good because she's nuts and I like her.
Yeah.
So we'll have none of the hating, thank you very much, in my person.
Here's a story for you.
What?
The golden rules to a happier, healthier old age.
Oh.
So these are the rules.
Be healthy, don't die.
Talk about ageing. You're getting old, Kath.
Oh, talk about ageing. It's better than the alternative.
Dying. This should help you to come up with new ideas and plans. Too few of us discuss it seriously. Okay. Get fit.
Yeah.
No, I went on a bicycle for 10 minutes yesterday.
Did you actually move on the bicycle, or were you just sitting on it?
I went for a little ride around the block. After I worked out how to use the pump. It took me 20 minutes to work out how to use the pump.
You know, it does my head in gears.
Oh,
Takes me 5 minutes to work out which gear I'm in.
It's got like 30 gears, this bike. Why would you... You need 3.
Yeah.
Fast, slow and medium.
Yeah.
Anyway, I did 10 minutes on it and I was knackered. My buttocks go.
OK, well, that's good for you. Today, do 12 minutes.
Keep your friends and make new ones. No thanks. Why would I make new friends?
I don't really like the people I know.
No. Studies have shown that being lonely increases the chances of developing... Oh, flippin'.
Well, yeah, I mean, there is that.
Adapt your property. The home we raise... This is a fun list. The home we raise our children in might not be suitable for us in retirement.
Oh.
As we age, you might want to have fewer steps, smaller gardens and to be nearer the shops. She says that.
No, by then it'll be cyber shopping all the way, won't it?
These are things. There are things you can do to make your home more suitable for your needs. I hope you're listening, old people who've got oodles of money.
A massive telly.
Add an ensuite bathroom. Replace windows and insulate properly. Yeah, because everyone can afford to do those things.
Yeah.
That's
Thanks for that. Top tips. I saw Oprah interviewing Tina Turner the other day.
Oh, steamy windows.
She's just brilliant.
Yeah.
She looks amazing. I know that's not her own hair.
It's a good wig.
But her skin is amazing. She's happy. She's zen.
Yeah.
But then again, she's got loads of money, so it's easy to clear your mind of all that stuff when you've got enough stuff, isn't it?
But they say money doesn't buy you happiness. Yeah, it does. It does, of course it does. You can be...
She said, I don't desire anything more. And then she said, I've got the house, I've got the... Well, then that's because you can't buy anything more.
Here's a question. What two things did the Beatles say money can't buy you?
Love.
Yeah, that's one. So what's the second
But that's
thing?
not necessarily true.
It can buy you something.
Yeah.
What's the second thing the Beatles said money can't buy you?
Can't remember.
You have to have a think about it, though, won't you?
Oh.
The garden was blessed by the gods of me and you. We anywheres for to find ourselves some truth. Oh, what you waiting for? No, what you waiting for? We counted all our reasons, excuses that we made. We found ourselves some treasure and threw it all away. Oh, what you waiting for? No, what you waiting for? What you waiting for? No, what you waiting for? When I dance alone and the sun's beating down, blame it on me. When I lose control and the veil's overused, blame it on me. What you waiting for? No, what you waiting for? Caught in the tide of blossom, caught in the carnival. Your confidence forgotten, I see the gypsies roll. Oh, what you waiting for? No, what you waiting for? What you waiting for? No, what you waiting for? When I dance alone and the sun's beating down, blame it on me. When I lose control and the veil's overused, blame it on me. What you waiting for? No, what you waiting for? What you waiting for? No, what you waiting for?
There's not enough finger clicking in songs these days. Kids are losing the art of finger clicking.
My 6-year-old can click her fingers, well, on one hand.
Yeah?
I think that's quite impressive.
I have got... Right, stop that. I've got... Because I used to be a hypnotist. You know that, don't
Yeah.
you? I've got the best click.
To give people sort of an idea.
Who are you? Who is that woman? I've got the best click ever. Right, you ready? Okay, I'll put a bit back on.
Oh, I'm back in the room.
You see? It's a strong... That one's not so strong. That one.
Stop sending me in and out trances. On air. It's not professional.
Go on, you do it. Give us a click. Go on. No, you do.
That's a bit more Addams Family.
Yeah. You're like a backup singer for the Shirelles or something. You're a Shirelle.
Very much so, yeah.
E-cigarette... You've not worked out...
Grief.
I know, she's... Page 3.
Cold.
You're getting value for your money, aren't you? Hey, well done. Well done, them. Those pants don't work.
Massive pants.
Doesn't work at
That's what I
all.
was looking at. I know we wear them like that, mostly, but, wow.
Have you worked out what the other thing is that Beatles say money can't buy?
Money can't buy you... Money can't buy you... Money can't buy you a natural-looking hair dye. Paul McCartney.
Does he wear a wig?
No, he must dye it. It's got that kind of ready cast, hasn't it?
He does dye it, and that's a fact, because he was going grey in the 80s.
Yeah. I kind of like that. Why do men fight that?
He should... I'm not fighting it, I'm embracing it.
I like it.
He should do a Tom Jones and come out. as a whitehead.
Yeah, like Philip Schofield.
Like Pip S. I'm sure it's a wig, though, because his hair is very thick. No man who is 73, I think.
I don't think it's thick, I think it's boofed.
Could be a bit boof. He's got the money. Good luck. We'll play the Beatles song in a little bit so that we'll tell you the other thing that money can't buy you. E-cigarettes should be banned indoors.
Oh, I saw this, because apparently it's a passive smoking risk.
Global health watchdog issues warning over toxicant. Electronic cigarettes should be banned from indoors and face a raft of new curbs over safety fears, The Who insisted, not the rock group, the World Health, etc. It claims they pose a risk to bystanders of toxicant emissions and warns there is limited evidence they help smokers quit. Ladies and gentlemen, well done to the World Health Organisation for saying, do you know what, guys? There ain't no facts. Oh, apart from one study that was all, that said actually they might be quite good, there's no other evidence. There's no other evidence, you suckers.
So it makes you think that not only does it carry on your addiction,
yeah,
but also it may be still quite harmful to people outside.
And also, the people who smoke them are smug idiots. They are so smug. Do you remember I got all that hassle from the e-cigarette?
I think we might be about to rerun the film.
Yeah, I can take them on. I'll be able to outrun them. They're such smug people. Yeah, it's not a real cigarette. I'm allowed to smoke this in it. Yeah, but you look like a plum. You do, don't they? Anyway.
There you go.
What you got?
Well, you've turned this over, so I don't want to nick your story. What are you looking at? I mean, you're looking at the massive pants, or are you looking at John...
I'm looking at the important story at the bottom. It's a big story. It's only small. They've only given it a couple of paragraphs, which is a shame.
Tom Cruise's 8-year-old daughter, Suri.
Yep.
Has lost her pet chihuahua just weeks after adopting her. Well, they are very small.
Yes. What, the Cruises? Katie isn't. He is.
Mum, Katie Holmes, put up 50 posters offering a £600 reward for Honey, who vanished in Beverly Hills, California, near woods where coyotes roam. Oh, dear. Right, had been visiting pals.
Do what I did and just buy another one that looks the same. Do those posters work? I had a great idea for a coffee table book, and I started it, where it's photographs of all of those posters.
Oh.
Wouldn't that be a great book?
It'd be a sad book.
Well, I genuinely thought it was a great... If someone wants to go and do that, please go and do that. Give me a little credit, but you can have the money. I thought it was I went around taking really arty pictures of all of these posters. Because some of them are wonderful works of art. Some of them are very, very sad.
Yeah, and what I'd like to know as well, maybe, if you are going to do that book, because he can't be bothered, and I really can't be bothered either, I'd really like to know what the outcome was, whether they ever got found.
Yeah. That's what you'd want, a little paragraph at the end of each one. And do those posters ever work?
Dunno, never lost an animal. I haven't got an animal.
Oh. Get a cat?
Nah.
Ples?
I really want one, but I'm not allowed.
Coward.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Having a look on these speed sensors at the M1, and things are moving fine at the moment through the contraflow that's in place between junction 10A for the Kidneywood roundabout and junction 10 for the Luton Airport Spur Road. It's not causing any delays at the moment, but it could cause some problems later on. On the M25, it's looking slow anti-clockwise just after junction 19 for Watford, and coming into London on the A406 North Circular Road, it's very slow southbound between the M1 at Staples Corner flyover and Wembley, and also on the North Circular Road westbound, it's queuing between the A504 East End Road Tunnel and Henley's Corner. Having a look on the trains on the Metropolitan line into London from Amersham, Chesham and Watford. Well, from Amersham and Chesham have severe delays, and from Watford there are minor delays. That's after a signal failure at Rickmansworth. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Chuggy-muggy-licious.
Thank you, Samantha. 6:46. It's Wednesday, the 27th of August. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. New rules to curb stop and search powers for police are being welcomed. The MK Dons beat Manchester United 4-0 last night to make it into the third round of the League Cup. And dogs must be kept on leads in public spaces in Haddenham in Buckinghamshire after a cat was mauled to death by 3 dogs. Let's get the weather.
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Well, after a bit of a soggy start to the week, we've got a much drier, warmer day today. Varying amounts of clouds, so some sunny spells, and temperatures reaching about 19 or 20 degrees Celsius. So a good few degrees above our highs for yesterday. Now, tonight we've got some cloud building from the southwest, and then rain pushes in, heading northeastwards, and it should have cleared by the morning, with temperatures down to 14 degrees Celsius. Now, tomorrow, a healthy amount of sunny spells for much of the day. Highs of 21 degrees Celsius. During the night, some of us may just have a bit of showery rain. And then we've got some isolated showers for Friday and Saturday, but still some sunny spells as well. But a touch on the breezy side, but looking largely dry on Sunday. That's your latest forecast.
Every weekday morning from 9, Jonathan Vernon Smith.
Lots to discuss. Do you agree with her? Do you think she speaks a lot of sense?
With the biggest questions.
Should Muslim women be allowed to wear the veil in court? And is it fair to only give people this kind of benefit for 3 months?
And the biggest opinions.
I'd like to hear from you.
I feel strongly because
children should be taught in a structured way.
You know, there's nothing better in life than real life experience.
Don't be patronising.
Excuse me, I'm talking, sorry. There's 2 words here, common sense.
One of my pet hates, I feel really strongly about it. We're talking about that. I agree with you.
The JVS Show, weekdays from 9 on BBC Three Counties Radio. Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Dad Pop. Where did that idea come from?
It came from my brain.
Catherine.
Yeah, Benefit Street 2, new series filmed in Stockton-upon-Tees.
Hey.
Filming's only just started on the new series of Benefit Street, but the trouble's already begun. You know why? Because they're wise to it.
Yeah.
The first time around, the community was told it was all about how people were banding together underneath difficult circumstances. Now they know it's going to be Benefit Street 2. Some families and councillors fear Kingston Road and Stockton-on-Tees, the new subject for the TV hit, will be shown in a bad light. Oh, you think?
There's a surprise, guys. Really?
A month into the Channel 4 shoot, tensions on the street of one of England's most deprived estates are boiling over. Hooded thugs hurled abuse at reporters. Hooded thugs.
It's you were a hood sometimes when you're a thug.
With one telling the son, I'll smash your head off that wall if you don't leave.
Oh, dear, guys. Come on, guys. Break it up.
Resident Jamie Smith, 20, said of the show, it exploits the lives of ordinary people who, like me, are struggling to find work. People watch that to get cross, don't they?
They watch it to get cross and to get content for lazy radio shows. That's it. It's people like us going, hey, let's watch this, guys, because we might get a phone in out of it.
I'm quite familiar with Salford, where people sometimes have nothing, and there is a community spirit there, and people may be a bit rough around the edges, but actually I don't think it's fair that you go in there looking for trouble. I just don't think it's right.
Can I say something that might sound... It's nothing to do with this, but it's so contrary to the poverty that we are talking about there that it might sound offensive.
OK.
I've bought a really nice piano.
Right. Why is no one making a documentary about this?
I offered it to them. I phoned up the telly. Well, I phoned up Sky and I said, do you want it? And they said, no, sir, can we help you with your movie package? Anyway... so I bought a nice piano. It's coming Thursday. Right? Is piano easy? It looks easy, doesn't it?
I think it's easy to start out on.
Yeah.
What's not as easy is sounding good on it.
I can play the intro to Daydream Believer,
right?
And I can play the wrong chords to Let It Be.
Okay, well, there's 2 projects for you there.
Yeah.
Why don't you learn the rest of Daydream Believer and the right chords to Let It Be? Because there's only about 4.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. But I think they're quite tricky.
Nah, get on YouTube. There'll be a 12-year-old who'll show you.
Just, can you play the piano?
No.
Why did I just ask that question?
I mean, I can play it badly.
Yeah.
I can certainly get you a piano to kind of play on for 10 minutes or so. Would you be up for that?
Are you saying the piano in the hotel over the road?
Yes, that one, yes.
He can get me a piano.
He says 10 minutes. It'd be 2 minutes before we get kicked out.
I can get you a piano. What, we go into the lobby of the hotel over the road? Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one, yeah.
I'm getting one delivered to my house Thursday evening.
Why? If you can't play?
Well, chicken and egg, isn't it?
Well... Shouldn't you learn to play first, then buy a piano? Because you might be rubbish.
On what? What's he going to learn to play on?
The one over the road.
I don't think they hire it out for beginners.
Yeah, I don't think the Icon give piano lessons,
Or
mate.
take piano lessons in somebody's home, make your mistakes there, and then when you're brilliant, then get the piano. You made a big mistake there.
You need to practice, Justin.
No.
You can't just do it once a week and then come back Liberace.
You want to be magnif, then get the piano.
Well, thank you for your advice, Justin.
It's a pleasure.
Now, listen, this morning, I was getting a drum kit, but it's midlife crisis, Kels.
Wow, drum kit as well.
So, are you getting the drum kit or...?
No.
Just piano?
Yeah.
New car?
Cool. No car, but I'm getting a flashy motorbike and an 18-year-old girlfriend. Now, Kelly, do you know any 18-year-old girls that will go out with an old man?
No.
No, forget the girlfriend. That's not happening. Now, Justin, Quiz Quandary Corner. You've got a little quiz quandary for us.
Yes.
But I've got a little quiz quandary corner for you.
Have you?
Yes.
Shall I go first, or
no?
Or should you go first?
I'll go first. You go second.
Okay, cool.
What are the two things that the Beatles said money can't buy you?
Love.
Correct.
Would it be morals?
And what song would that be from, Just? If
you
could sing
can't
it to
buy
us.
morals.
So can you sing it to us?
It was a B-side. Can't be. No, I can't.
No.
No, I'm fascinated by this one. I heard you mention this about 10 minutes ago. I have got absolutely no idea.
And you're the music master.
Yeah, no idea.
Now,
You sent me.
Kelly's Googled it.
No, I haven't Googled it.
You reckon you've remembered?
I saw it in your running order the song that.
Oh!
And then I remembered.
I'm good at well, that's cheating. I'm not going to let you have that glory.
Because partly the knowledge was already in my brain.
Yeah.
I just needed it to come to the front.
And very rarely does knowledge come to the front in Kelly. I'm going to play it, Justin. You got no idea?
No idea, genuinely.
Keep listening. We'll be back after this.
Okay.
Any ideas yet?
That's the restriction. Is that
Wednesday morning at 5 o'clock as the day begins, silently closing her bedroom door, leaving the note that she hoped would say more. She goes downstairs to the kitchen, clutching her handkerchief, quietly turning the back door key. Stepping outside, she is free. We gave her most of our lives, is leaving, sacrificed most of our lives. We gave her everything money could buy. She's leaving home after living alone for so many years. Father snores as his wife gets into a dressing gown, picks up the letter that's lying there, standing alone at the top of the stairs. She breaks down and cries to her husband, Daddy, our baby's gone. Why would she treat us so thoughtlessly? How could she do this to me? We never thought of ourselves, never a thought for ourselves. We struggled hard all our lives to get by. She's leaving home after living alone for so many years. Friday morning at 9 o'clock, she is far away, waiting to keep the appointment she made.
Get ready, here it comes.
Meeting a man from the motor trade. What did we do that was wrong? He's having. We didn't know it was wrong. Fun is the one thing that money can't buy.
Ladies and gentlemen, fun is the one thing that money can't buy.
Again, not true.
Fun is pretty much the only thing that money can buy, apart from food and clothing and houses, cars. But yeah, anyway, there you go, Just.
It was very clever. I thought you was actually playing there. I thought you was on a wind-up. The intro sounded like that tune you play, I'm being swallowed by a boa constrictor.
No,
It did.
No.
I think they've stolen that off the Beatles.
Sugar-mugger-licious.
Never. Now, Justin, it's your turn to... You met the Riddler yesterday.
Yes, the Riddler Mick. Every now and again, Mick approaches me on the streets and says, "Here, I've got a little teaser for you." Most times I ignore him and run off, but yesterday I thought to myself, do you know what? Why not? Mick seems to be up for this one, so he's come up with a riddle for the programme. Here's what happened when I met Mick yesterday morning. Mick, you've approached me on the streets. These streets are a dark place these days. You got a teaser for us? What's your teaser?
There's two countries in the world. One is one of the biggest countries in the world, and the other one is one of the smallest countries in the world. And they are self-supporting. They are the only two countries that are self-supporting. Who are they?
Who's the source on this?
I'm telling you. I've been around, you know. I've been to 12 countries around.
Do you think our audience will get this?
We'll put it on the wireless and find out.
Well, it's on the wireless. So 2 countries that are self-supporting.
Yes, apparently. According to our research, he's wrong. But let's put it out there. Yeah, according to Mick, he's been to 12 countries, you know.
Gosh.
And, yes, 2 countries which are self-supporting countries. Can you name them? Can you name Mick's answers this morning, a.k.a. the Riddler?
And you've got the answer, have you?
Yes, I've got the answer that he gave me. He gave me 2 answers.
I thought Cuba had to be, because of its stance on various things, it's isolated itself and it sorts itself out.
According to Mick, who's been to 12 countries, you know, Cuba, not one of the countries.
So the question is, which 2 countries does Mick think are completely self-supporting?
Absolutely. One of them is very big, one of them is very small. Can you get yourself into the weird and wacky place that is Mick's mind?
Justin, thank you very much. 08459 455 555. Thank you, Catherine.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, can I have a cough?
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Checking the cameras and speed sensors around, and there's still no major problems going on the road, so that is good news. But on the A505 coming into Hitchin, it is still looking a little bit slow from Carter's Lane into town there. Also on the M25 anti-clockwise, it's a little bit slow after junction 19 for Watford. There are a number of problems though in North London. On the A406 North Circular Road, there are a number of delays, one being that it's queuing and partially blocked because of an oil spillage and a broken down vehicle between East Finchley and Coney Hatch Lane. Looking at the trains, and the Metropolitan line still has delays into London from Amersham, Chesham and Watford after a signal failure earlier on at Rickmansworth. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Samantha. Coming up, more about restriction orders placed on dogs. Oh, and whatever else we were talking. We'll find out after the news.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7 o'clock. I'm Jane Killick. The headlines. An historic victory for the MK Dons. A man from Luton subjected to stop and search welcomes new rules, and robot dogs could be used to herd sheep.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The MK Dons achieved an historic victory last night, thrashing Manchester United by 4-0. They booted Manchester United out of the League Cup and sailed through to the 3rd round. MK Dons chairman Pete Winkleman thinks thousands of people who came to Stadium MK had never been before.
When we scored our goal, the roof nearly came off the stadium, and by the time we'd scored the 4th goal, the whole place was rocking. And does that have an effect on your allegiance, on your support, on whether you believe that you can be associated with a team? All the things you need to do to have that football culture. I think it can make a massive difference.
A new code of conduct for stop and search powers has been adopted by police forces across the country, but critics say the changes don't go far enough to address the disproportionate number of searches of people from black and other ethnic minority communities. Si in Luton has been stopped.
Stadium, and by the time we'd scored the 4th goal, the whole place was rocking. And does that have an effect on your allegiance, on your support, on whether you believe that you can be associated with a team? All the things you need to do to have that football culture. I think it can make a massive difference.
A new code of conduct for stop and search powers has been adopted by police forces across the country, but critics say the changes don't go far enough to address the disproportionate number of searches of people from black and other ethnic minority communities. Si in Luton has been stopped and searched and is glad the rules have been tightened.
Well, it's kind of frustrating because at the same time they're not pulling me over for a valid reason. Yeah. So at the end of the day, it's like it's not really nice feeling, if you get what I'm trying to say. It's like someone accusing you of something and you know you haven't done it. But with the stop and search thing, they've got the powers there to just stop and search you, and I think that's really wrong.
The Police and Crime Commissioner for South Yorkshire is facing calls to resign following a damning report on the sexual exploitation of hundreds of children by criminal gangs in Rotherham. Sean Wright was in charge of children's services in the town for several years, during which the abuse was ignored by police and council officials. Councils say they've been forced to cut back on school repairs because of a shortfall of £1 billion for school places. Nearly 80 councils complained that the Department for Education had failed to provide enough funding between 2011 and 2016. A 16-year-old from Watford is due to appear before St Albans Youth Court today, charged with murder. Akil Khan was found injured on Friday afternoon and taken to Watford General Hospital, where he died a short time later. Tony Fisher has more.
The injured 18-year-old was found in Croxley View at around 4:30pm on Friday. A 15-year-old male, also from Watford, who was also arrested as part of the investigation, has been charged with a fray and has been bailed to appear before St Albans Youth Court on the 10th of September. 2 further male youths, who were also arrested as part of the investigation, have been released with no further action.
Dogs will have to be kept on leads in one part of Buckinghamshire after a cat was mauled to death by 3 dogs. From next month, dogs must be kept on leads in Haddenham near Aylesbury in parks and open spaces. And scientists say they've discovered that sheepdogs use just 2 rules to round up large flocks of sheep. The findings could lead to the development of robots that can herd livestock or help clean up the environment. The weather, a chilly start, but an otherwise dry day with bright or sunny spells. Temperatures up to 20 Celsius. And get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
BBC Three Counties Radio's big tour of beds, hearts and bucks.
Nestling in the Chilterns, lots of nice countryside round, you know.
All this week, we're featuring Aylesbury.
Wherever I go, I always know people to speak to.
It's all about where you live.
So people in Aylesbury Market Down today can hear the bell that's been ringing for 700 years.
The big tour of beds, hearts and bucks. BBC Three Counties Radio.
A bell ringing for 700 years, that would do your nut in, wouldn't it? Morning, guys. Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. It's Wednesday. I know, that bank holiday has thrown everything off kilter. And by the way, what is a kilter? Anyone? It's not a Scottish gentleman. Lots to talk about this morning. Stop and search, dogs and cats. Oh, Milton Keynes Dons 4, Man United 0. But now, listen, I don't know anything about football, but how the hell is that possible? It's on the back pages of all the papers. Look, the Express, United are done for. Don 4. Oh, United are done for. 4-0, Van Gaal sinks to new low as MK Dons humiliate the United flops. I bet that fella who used to be the manager of Manchester United then isn't anymore because people didn't like him. Is lucky and relieved to be out of there. I'm at the edge of my football knowledge. I don't know what I'm talking about. If you want to phone up and crow, you're more than welcome to. 08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Yay. Stop and search, one of those topics that keeps bouncing back into the headlines. You may remember back in May, we spoke to 2 young gentlemen from Luton who are challenging Bedfordshire Police's approach. Mika and Nathan told us there seemed to be a bias towards stopping young black men. Reasons were often hard to come by, and the paperwork handed out afterwards was rarely complete. Well, Bedfordshire Police were keen to refute this, but the boys were unconvinced. And we know that, don't we? That if you are more likely to be stopped and searched if you are a young black man. If you're a white, middle-aged bloke or woman, how many times have you been stopped and searched? I have been stopped and searched once, and they pulled. We were in a car, and they pulled us over. Me, my girlfriend at the time, and my mate Simon, and they pulled us over, and they stopped. It's the only time. Never been stopped and searched walking down the street. A couple of times I've had a, you all right, where you going? OK. Never been stopped. Maybe you're one of those people who thinks, do you know what, it's all right that black people, young black men are stopped and searched more often than anyone else. Or maybe you think it's outrageous.
I could understand why they get wound up about it.
Yeah, and it's weird to talk about as kind of white middle-class people, because I'm sure it hasn't happened to you.
Never.
It's only happened to me that once, and that was years ago, and I was trouble then. Luckily, they didn't find anything. They didn't. It was in the glove compartment, you silly sausage. Always look in the glove compartment when you stop a car. 08459 455 555. Well, the government is bringing in a new stop-and-search code of conduct in a bid to restore public confidence. Justin Dealey went out onto the streets of Luton to see what people thought.
Now, Si, you have been stopped and searched at various points in your life.
Yeah.
Just how frustrating is it for you when the police pull you over?
Well, it's kind of frustrating because at the same time, they're not pulling me over for a valid reason. It could be, i.e., sure, I could have like a hoodie on.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it's like it's not really nice feeling, if you get what I'm trying to say. It's like someone accusing you of something and you know you haven't done it. But with the stop and search thing, they've got the powers there to just stop and search you, and I think that's really wrong. Obviously, if you're doing a crime or you're doing something bad or getting the intention to stop you, then I can understand, no problem, stop me.
Well, have the police ever found anything on you at all?
Nah, never. And that's what happened in most of these cases here. They don't find nothing.
So what's the issue here? Because you're in your 40s, OK?
Yeah.
You may look quite young, but you're in your 40s, you're wearing a baseball cap, you've got gold teeth.
Yeah.
Do you think straight away the police stereotype you as being a criminal?
Yeah, 100%. Most definitely 100%. It's a stereotyping thing, because at the end of the day, if I didn't have a baseball cap on, say I had one of them old Farmer Giles hats on, and like a gun jacket or like a...
tweed jacket.
Yeah, tweed jacket. You got it right, mate. If I had a tweed jacket on and some nice shoes, and I was walking along the street, 9 times out of 10 I would not get stopped, mate.
We know that the rules and regulations on stop and search are going to be tightened up based on your experience now and in the past as well. You must be delighted about that.
Yeah, I welcome all that, and at the same time with the camera thing as well. They've got a camera, they've got a clause is going through where they've got to wear, every police officer's got to wear a camera so that when they're talking to you can film it. I'm not going to say they're corrupt or anything, but some of them say stuff and it does not go that way. And obviously, true, they're the place of authority, like policemen, and then you might be a criminal, done a few things, you're going to be less likely to be believable.
Colin, you're saying to me that you get stopped and searched by the police 12 to 13 times a month?
Yes, I do.
So every couple of days you're being stopped and searched?
Yeah.
And how long does this take?
About 10-15 minutes.
And have they ever found anything on you?
A couple times they have. Couple spliffs and that's it. And they take them off me and they go smoke them themselves. So I've seen coppers still in it.
I don't think that is the case.
Trust me.
When was the last time you were stopped with drugs on you?
Well, a year and a half ago.
So since then, you're saying to me right now you've been stopped and searched 12 to 13 times a month and nothing has been found?
Yeah.
How infuriating is that for you?
Proper annoying. It takes for actual pee. Sorry, but I can't help swearing, but it does.
The regulations on stop and search are going to be tightened up now. As somebody who feels like you're being treated unfairly, you must be very happy about that, surely.
Actually, I am, yeah.
Well, joined now by Saqib Deshmukh, who is a community advocate and a former youth worker from High Wycombe. Morning, Saqib.
Hi, morning.
You heard there one young gentleman saying he gets stopped and searched about 12 times a month.
Yep, that doesn't surprise me at all.
But they found drugs on him, so it works.
Well, it just depends on who you're kind of targeting and the purpose of it. So, you know, if they've stopped him several times and they found something, okay, fine. But did that actually then lead to a charge or a prosecution?
It doesn't matter. If they found drugs on him, then it was worth stopping and searching him, wasn't it?
Well, I think if we were to look at the success rate of stop and searches and look at how many of them actually lead to a conviction, then, you know, you'll be surprised at the statistics.
Well, it's about 10%, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's very low in terms of the number of searches compared to the actual success rate. So
but does the percentage mean anything? Does that make a difference? Because if drugs are being found on people, and I don't quite understand why that gentleman was so upset if he was carrying drugs. If people are being arrested, even if it's only 10%, then that shows that it does work, doesn't it?
I think there are big question marks about the success of stop and search and the succession rates. You know, for a lot of people it feels like basic harassment, And unfortunately, from the work that we're doing as community advocates and our research with a number of police forces, but predominantly Thames Valley Police, which is the force that I engage with, it's used as a tool for kind of very blunt racial profiling. And that's our worry, that it's not actually being used as a tool for investigating crime. It's being used as a tool to gather intelligence.
And what evidence have you got for that?
Oh, from the number of complaints that we've received from young people over a 10, 15-year period. So, as a youth worker, I was inundated with issues and requests from young people. Young people who would be stopped 4 or 5 times in the morning or an afternoon, right?
And what evidence is there that that's being used to gather intelligence? That sounds quite menacing.
Well, we know that the police is under pressure to gather intelligence under different kind of issues, and not just to do with drugs. So, if we look at what happened in the carnival over the weekend, on the last day, the police used blanket Section 60 powers, which gives you the right to stop and search without any suspicion, right? So these are blanket powers. And we know for a fact that there were police officers who were in the crowd who were undercover as well, and there are photographs.
But that's not a bad thing, is it, to have undercover police officers when there are 1.5 million people in a small area?
It just depends on how you look at it and what perspective you come from. I mean, our concern is that we see that stop and search being used with undercover, being used with these search powers, has been both discriminatory, because these powers tend to be used in things like festivals or when there is a demonstration, etc. And sadly, in terms of the figures, they're used against Black, Asian and African Caribbean communities.
We're talking about these changes, Saki. What are they, to your understanding, and do you think they go far enough?
Well, okay, they've been called best use of stop and search, and what Theresa May, the Home Secretary, has said is that she wants a reduction in stop and search, but she also wants it to be used far more intelligently, right? So, to an extent, I can understand where she's coming from. There has to be a reduction. We have to use it far more in a far better way than we use it now. There's also a pilot scheme that's being offered around a number of, if there's complaints against stop and search, that will trigger off a larger review or a complaint process of the police force, which, we welcome that as well. But I think for many of us as practitioners, activists on the ground, we don't want to just see stop and search being tinkered and tampered with. We want to see it ended as a practice.
And these changes will mean more paperwork as well. Should we be giving bogging the police down with paperwork?
Well, some of the paperwork they're required to fill in. If you're a professional in your job, there is paperwork that comes in with this, and officers now have the kind of latest kind of smartphones and tablets and all the electronic kind of equipment that is being issued. So it has been made far more easier for police officers. So, when we're talking about paperwork now, it's not like reams and reams of paper. It's actually very computerised and quite advanced now.
What's the weather like in High Wycombe today, Saki? I love High Wycombe. Is it miserable?
I can see some sun coming up.
Hey, that's not bad, is it? Well, let's hope those clouds part. Saqib, I appreciate your time. Saqib Dejmuk, community advocate and former youth worker from High Wycombe. I like High Wycombe a lot. My sister got married in High Wycombe.
Did she?
Well, then she got married properly in New Zealand. But my mum couldn't go, so she had a little registry office thing. Say properly, it was properly in High Wycombe. New Zealand was like a hippie wedding.
Oh.
Not a hippie wedding, it was a nice wedding.
Did everyone have shoes on?
Probably not.
Yeah.
They don't bother with shoes over there.
I know.
Anyway, I was surprised Saqib was disappointed there were undercover police officers at Notting Hill Carnival. That sounds like a great thing.
Well, I mean, it's either that or a heavy-handed row of uniformed coppers.
Is there anything worse than seeing a police officer dancing with a big fat lady while a steel band plays at a carnival?
I think, is there anything better than that? I mean,
oh no! It's
love it.
Hey, we're police officers, but we can engage with the public in a rhythmic forum.
Hey, at least if they've not got their uniforms on, they can throw whatever shapes they like.
08459 455 555. Maybe you think, hang on, listen. If people are getting stopped and searched, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that they're black. It doesn't matter that they're young. Maybe you think the stop and search doesn't go far enough. Let's get your calls on that, please.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the A1 southbound, it's queuing now between junction 11 for Dunstable Road and junction 9 for the turning at Redbourne. And on the M25 anti-clockwise, it's looking slow just after junction 19 for Watford. Having a look on the A1 southbound into London, it's queuing now at Stirling Corner on the CCTV cameras. And on the North Circular Road, it's still queuing and partially blocked between East Finchley and Coney Hatch Lane because of an oil spillage. On the trains, the Metropolitan line into London from Amersham and Chesham has severe delays, and from Watford, minor delays because of a signal failure at Rickmansworth. Samantha Breath, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Samantha. It's 7:16. It's Tuesday the 27th of August. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. New rules to curb stop and search powers for police are being welcomed. The MK Dons beat Manchester United 4-0 last night to make it into the third round of the League Cup. And dogs must be kept on leads in public spaces in Haddenham in Buckinghamshire after a cat was mauled to death by 3 dogs.
BBC Three Counties Radio. Every weekday from 3, Roberto Perroni.
Are league tables the best way to judge a school? Pal, do you have any sympathy for the Buckinghamshire-born golfer Iain Poulter? Police are issuing safety advice to women in Watford, but I'm fascinated by the age gap between her and her husband. Figures show that around £500,000 was spent in Hertfordshire last year clearing up after people who dump rubbish. Then you just ate them.
Roberto Perroni.
There's been an extraordinary reaction on social media. My big concern is that no one ever worries about the victims. The whole system is designed to help the criminal.
Roberto Perroni. Weekdays from 3. BBC Three Counties Radio.
If you hear a whisper, give us a shout.
Really? We're still playing that, are we?
Yeah, it's good. I've got loads. There you go.
If you hear a whisper, give us a shout.
If you hear a whisper, give us a shout.
If you hear a whisper, give us a shout. Word up.
Word up.
Yeah.
He's personalised
Had
that.
any shouts as a response to that?
Well, I believe Anne, you're about to give us a shout now, aren't you?
Hello, good morning.
Have you heard a whisper?
If you hear a whisper, give us a shout.
Beautiful. And have you heard a whisper?
No, I haven't, no.
Listen.
Ah.
There you go.
Well,
there you go.
I think it's got legs.
I just want to say my funny story about an accordion. I heard your story about a piano.
I'm getting a piano delivered to Thursday. I'm officially posh.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
I only heard half of the story, and it just reminded me of my sister in Brighton.
Yeah.
I went to visit her a little while ago, and she bought a piano from London on eBay for my brother-in-law's birthday.
Yeah.
And she had to take her bike up there, and it was so heavy. And she got this back.
Whoa, hang on a minute. She went to collect it on a bike?
Yeah, she doesn't drive. Yeah, she went on the train, and then she went from this house from the station to a house to collect this accordion. She had to take it all the way back to Brighton. So anyway, and my brother-in-law's face was really disappointed. So she kept it herself, and she said, if I learn 10 songs a year, I'll keep it. And my sister she's quite tall, but she's about a size 8'10", and this huge accordion was strapped to her. And I don't know if you've ever seen them, like really close up, but you do need like really big oompa lads to wear those because it was huge. And we were cracking up, and you have to put your hands and arms completely through these straps.
Yeah.
And they are really quite heavy, actually.
Because I've got a concertina, but that's a little it's sort of hexagonal either side. These are the ones you're talking about with the piano keyboard on the end.
The huge ones, yes, and they're quite difficult to play. And she's learnt about 3 or 4 songs so far. So good on. If you're getting a piano, good on you.
And thank you very much indeed.
That's a good target, 10 songs a year.
That's a lot.
Well, look, you can start...
That's an album a year.
We're nearly finished with this year, so just do 5 songs.
So you got like a little old... Sailor's squeeze box.
Yeah. At one point I could play Irish Rover on it.
Bring it in tomorrow.
Well, no, because I haven't practised for a while.
It'd be even better. But listen, Billy Big Boots, you think you can play the... what's another... the Sailors... I'm treading so carefully. I thought what happened to you. Sailor's squeeze box. Bring it in tomorrow.
No, I can't.
Yeah.
Let me practice.
Today, bring it in tomorrow.
All right, OK.
Thank you very much indeed. We look forward to that. Excellent stuff. 08459 455 555. If there are any songs you'd like to hear Catherine squeeze out,
I'll let you have a go. I'll let you have a go if you want.
On your squeeze box?
Yeah.
Thanks. Now then. Dog owners in Buckinghamshire. I didn't mean it in that... I wasn't doing a sab-off, for goodness sake. Right, let me do this.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties
Didn't
Radio.
mean it like that. Dog owners in Buckinghamshire will have to keep certain paths with their pets in if... What does this mean? Hang on. Dog owners in Buckinghamshire will have to keep certain paths with their pets in if one Buckinghamshire council gets its way. What does that mean in English?
Keep to certain paths with their pets.
Thank you. Can you do the sentence for me as should be?
Yeah, hang on, let me read it.
This is a serious story and you've muffed it up.
Dog owners in Buckinghamshire will have to keep to certain paths with their pets if one Buckinghamshire council gets its way. It's just an extra in, it wasn't too tricky, you could have negotiated that on your own.
Thank you, Mum. Haddon Parish Council has provisionally agreed to enforce a dog control order after a cat was mauled to death by 3 dogs. Well, I'm joined now by Sir Roderick Floud, who brought the incident to the council's attention. Good morning, Sir Roderick. You saw the dogs attack the cat. What happened?
The cat was sitting on our front step waiting for my neighbour to come and feed it. And 3 dogs came out of the footpath which runs just close to our house, the footpath from Haddenham to Kingsey. We heard a terrible noise in the front garden and went out of the front door and found these dogs attacking, 2 of the dogs actually, the third one was rather smaller, 2 big dogs attacking the cat. They dragged it up the road, up Flint Street in Haddenham, and we pursued them, and one of my friends who was with me tried to get the cat away, but the dogs turned on her, and by that point, obviously, the cat was dead.
What an horrific...
It was horrible, yes.
Well done for stepping in and at least trying to do something. What did you do then? Did you call the police? Did you call the council?
We talked to the owner, who was in a rather upset state, inevitably.
The owner of the cat?
The owner of the dogs.
The dogs, OK.
The owner of the cats was told a bit later. The owner of the dogs didn't immediately make any effort to control them. She said after a bit that she'd been speaking on a mobile phone and that it had been a lapse of concentration, that she hadn't put them on the lead. But that's really our point, that dogs ought to be on leads in narrow footpaths and in public spaces, and that's the reason that we public spaces where there can be children or others who might be in danger. So that was really why I wrote to the council, to Haddenham Parish Council, suggesting that simply a notice should be put up saying, please keep your dog on a lead until you get to open country. And that seems to me what happens, what's necessary. There are plenty of places in Buckinghamshire villages, in Haddenham, where people can walk their dogs, and I had a dog as a child. I know how much pleasure people get from having dogs and looking after them. So I'm not anti-dog at all. I just want them to keep their dogs on a lead where there is potential danger to other animals or to people.
And you've spoken to the council. They have made some changes. Do you think that the changes have gone far enough? Are they the right ones?
Well, I would have liked them to have put a dog control order simply saying, please keep your dog on a leash or lead on the footpath that runs from Haddenham to Kingsey. But they've decided apparently to confine the dog control orders to the open spaces, the playing fields and so on in Haddenham. That's their decision, and we'll see what happens.
Well, Sir Roderick, stay on the line. We're joined as well this morning by David Lyons, who is the councillor who's been at the forefront of this rule change. David, thanks very much for joining us.
Good morning.
A horrific story and horrific sight. You brought in these dog control orders, but not actually in the area where the attack happened. Why is that?
Well, the Parish Council is very supportive of dog walkers in the village, and we appreciate that it's an important facility for them to be able to walk in footpaths and open spaces. In the circumstances, to put a dog control order on every footpath in the village would have taken quite a long time, and we examined the problem as a whole and looked at the historical data that we've had of complaints of dogs in public places, and the biggest risk areas are Banks Park, the recreation ground, the airfield playing field, where we've had lots of complaints for football players about dog mess, and one or two other places. So we decided to pilot dog control orders for those locations and get them in and see how the village feels about them, bearing in mind we've had such a strong history of complaints.
You mentioned dog mess there, David. The proposal does seem to be more centred on dog mess than it does on dangerous dogs and attacks like the one Sir Roderick was telling us about.
The dog control orders don't mention dog mess at all. They purely...
You just have?
Well, I have, but the dog control orders seek to address complaints that we've had over a number of years. The proposals really seek to balance the existing restrictions. There are existing signs that say no dogs, and a number of people disobey these signs, and we're seeking to rationalise these existing rules, and we're actually extending the areas where dogs will be allowed.
So there will be more areas where dogs are... Because to me, as a father of two young boys, the youngest of whom is particularly nervous around dogs, and we are working on that, I don't mind if there are certain parks or certain areas or woodland where dogs are allowed to run off lead, but it does seem odd that they're allowed to do it in residential streets, and streets like this one where this attack happened.
Well, to include every street in the village in a dog control order, I don't know anywhere where this has been done. Parish councils like ours, Maids Morton is an example. They introduced dog control orders for their recreation ground, for their football pitch, because they have complaints of parents with their children playing in areas where there are dog mess and on football players particularly. And also, as you
again,
say,
it's you're mentioning dog mess and not the potential for attack.
Well, the two things do go together, but we had to look at what we've had the most complaints about over the last few years, and every month or two we've had complaints about dog mess, particularly in Banks Park and in the recreation area. So that's what we've sought to control, and this is a start. And we're looking at the consensus within the village for this. There's 5 locations, and then if there is an appetite for it within the village, then we would seek to go further.
Let me just bring back in Sir Roderick Floud, who saw the incident. Sir Roderick, what do you think about what David's saying?
Well, I'm naturally disappointed that the footpath, which is a very narrow one, is not going to be the subject of an order at the moment, although I understand that Aylesbury Vale District Council might reconsider this later on. I think the point is that what one's trying to do is not to be heavy-handed. We don't want heavy-handed enforcement of these notices. We want simply to encourage people to behave responsibly with their dogs. Most dog owners do behave responsibly, but some don't. And I think that what I was anxious to do, and I'm still anxious to do, is to have at kind of pinch points, at points of danger or potential danger, notices which simply remind dog owners of their obligations. And that seems to me to be quite a minimal thing to do. I'm not suggesting we should, have police patrolling the village to enforce these orders. But if there is irresponsible behaviour, then the community has to be able to express its disappointment and its anger at what's happened.
Gentlemen, I appreciate your time. Sir Roderick, what a horrible thing to have witnessed. But thank you for sharing your story. And David, the best of luck with it. And let's hope that it all works. 08459 455 555.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Having a look at the cameras on the motorway, and the M1 southbound is still queuing between junction 11 for Dunstable Road and junction 9 for the turning at Redbourne. On the M25 anti-clockwise, it's slow between junction 21 for the M1 and 19 for Watford, and also between junction 17 for Maple Cross and 16 for the M40. Having a look at the A1 into London, and it's queuing southbound at Stirling Corner, and also on the A1 at Watford Way, it's slow between the Apex Corner and Mill Hill Circus. Having a look at the London Underground on the Metropolitan line into London from Amersham, Chesham, and has severe delays, and Watford there are minor delays, but the rest of the line is running well at the moment. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7:30. I'm Jane Killick. A new code of conduct for stop and search powers has been adopted by the police, but critics say the changes don't go far enough to address the numbers of searches of people from ethnic minorities. A 16-year-old from Watford is due to appear before St Albans Youth Court today, charged with murder. Akil Khan was found injured on Friday afternoon and died in hospital a short time later. A dog control order is being brought in Haddenham near Aylesbury. It's after a cat was mauled to death by 3 dogs. The weather, dry and bright with possible sunny spells. On to sport, and the MK Dons have thrashed Manchester United in a thrilling match at the Stadium MK. They kicked the Premier League side out of the League Cup and sailed through to the third round with an impressive 4-0 scoreline. BBC Three Counties radio sports editor Jeff Doyle was watching.
Here's Afobe, and Evans is struggling. Afobe takes him on, still going Afobe, still going Afobe. Afobe is in here and scores! 4-0 MK Dons! It's a humiliation for Manchester United, and it is unbelievable for MK Dons.
The winning goal there scored by Benik Afobe, his second goal of the evening. The other 2 goals were scored by Will Grigg. After the match, MK Dons manager Carl Robinson was still taking it in.
I think we're still in shock. I don't think anybody in the wildest dreams could ever imagine. I looked up to the scoreline and said to Damo, how long to go? He said 3.5. I said, is that it? He went, I think you can settle down a little bit now. We've won the game. And it was just a very, very unique evening. And it'll be something that we'll take with us for the rest of our lives.
Watford were also playing in the League Cup, but they were knocked out. They lost 2-1 at home to Doncaster. Watford's goalkeeping coach, Alex Chamberlain, was naturally disappointed, especially for goalkeeper Jonathan Bond.
We were delighted, obviously, to get through a really tough fixture at Stevenage and then to get a home tie against a side, in the league below. It should have led for us to going through into the third round, and it hasn't. We're all disappointed, obviously, particularly I am for Bondy. Obviously, doesn't get a chance to play any further games at this moment in time. There'll be other players on the field as well in that situation.
BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next bulletin is at 8.
If you hear a whisper, give us a shout.
Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Let it finish. And now.
Finish.
Sorry?
Nothing.
It's a good campaign. We're local and vocal. All right, that's not so bad. That's just because it rhymes. If you hear a whisper, give us a shout. I mean, yes, we stole it from a woman who runs a Cliff Richard fan club, but I think we've adapted it enough for our own purposes. It's great. And dear listener, it's addressed to you. If you do hear a whisper, please give us a shout. It means if you hear a little story, tell us and we'll make it into a big story. Did you watch the football last night?
Which one?
Luton Town.
Iain,
Watford Town.
Name a football game that's happened in the last year.
Milton Keynes Dons versus the Manchesters.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah,
No,
yeah.
I was watching Celtic Maribor. Of course I didn't watch it.
All right. You've been listen, I don't like football, but even I think that was an amazing achievement on part of Milton Keynes Dons. MK Dons.
Right.
Watford. Who? No. What did they used to be called? Waltham Cross.
Yeah.
What were they used to be called?
Wimbledon.
That was the fellas. Anyway.
But not. I mean, depending on who you're talking to, that could get you a punch in the chops.
Let's not go down that murky, murky. But you've got a real downer on this game. Is it because it's Manchester that got thrashed?
Could it be that?
You're from Oop North.
Could it be that? Could it be that?
Is that what it is? What rubbish? 4-0. Van Gaal sinks to new low as MK Hons humiliate United Hop. United are done for. Number 4, done for. United are done for. That's on the back of the Express. It's a big story.
2 of the most hated teams in football go head to head, and everyone's going to have something to crow about.
Flipping heck! Now listen, we heard the sports team getting excited there. I'd like to hear the production team. Kelly, can you commentate, please, on the 4th goal of the game? No, you do the first goal of the game last night.
And such is coming in and he's hammering it home.
Make the names up. If you don't know the names, make them up.
Unbelievable scenes here at Milton Keynes.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
I don't know, what's the guy's name?
Steve
was just amazing. He started off at one end and there he was dribbling the ball and he just hammered it home.
Yeah, beautiful. Catherine, you do the 4th goal for us, please.
There's another one.
Flipping it, mate. Come on. Even I'm excited by this. Milton Keynes Dons 4, Man United 0. Love 0-0. Incredible turnaround. The 4-0 to the Dons, much to the delight of the chairman of the MK Dons Supporters Association, Adam Fairs, who joins me now. Good morning, Adam.
Good morning. What a night. What a night.
I'm so sorry you had to hear the bit of bile being spouted out by my producer, Catherine Boyle.
Well, do you know what? You've got to take the rough with the smooth, haven't you?
Boy, is she... Oh, no.
Back up.
Back up, baby. We spoke about this yesterday and we're like, hey, Fantasyland, wouldn't it be good, but it ain't never going to happen. It happened, and it happened in style.
4-0. It's just absolutely amazing. When the first one went in, everybody was like jumping for joy, of course, but everybody thinks, well, they're going to come back and it's going to be 6-1. But then when the second goes in, and the third, and then the fourth, oh my goodness, it was just absolutely fantastic. And for the 27,000 fans there, just incredible.
At what point did you think, do you know what, we might be in with a chance, we may win this?
Well, I think actually after the first one, United were making some really bad defensive errors. They were just shocking at the back and didn't seem to have any teeth up front. So, and we were playing the incisive football that we should be playing week in, week out, and that we can play. And all the players, played up. It wasn't okay. Manchester United played badly, but we were excellent. The fans who went last night saw the most amazing team that we've ever played.
Were Manchester United, and I'm not saying this to in any way discredit your glory, were Manchester United, were they playing kind of a B team? I mean, were people like Wayne Rooney playing?
Well, Rooney and Van Persie weren't playing, but Welbeck was playing, Chicharito was playing, Danny Evans was playing. There were top people in that team. They didn't look. Football's a team game. They didn't play as a team. We played as a team. We played incisively. We played well, and that's the result. But even for United not to really have a shot, I think it was until the 73rd minute, is woeful. But we stopped it. Our defence, our back line was very strong and stopped them, coming on and trying.
United, have I got this right? United yesterday spent £60 million on a football player.
Yeah.
And they couldn't beat you. I know that he wasn't playing, but the team that can spend that much money and you kick their backsides.
I think our entire team costs less than one week's salary of Wayne Rooney.
Isn't that incredible?
235,000, just amazing. Amazing for the Football League as well. I mean, we play, for people who don't come week in, week out, we play, really good brand of football. And people in Milton Keynes last night were able to see that, and hopefully they'll come again. That's what an amazing event.
Well, I'm sure it can only do you, the world of good in picking up maybe a few new supporters or people who live nearby but can't be bothered to go will probably pop along more often, I would have thought.
Yeah, and you know what? There's an awful lot of our supporters that, would say that they follow Premiership teams, but actually come to the Dons week in, week out because they can. It's affordable, it's safe, it's a family environment, it's fantastic.
And I'm just looking, it's on the back page of, I think, every single newspaper.
Absolutely.
Adam, listen, mate, are you going to be celebrating today? What's you got any plans?
I think we're probably going out tonight.
Yeah, I suspect you might. Hey, listen, it's really nice to talk to you, and what brilliant news. Well done, mate.
Yeah, thanks very much, Iain.
Thank you very much indeed. Adam Fairs, chairman of the MK Don Supporters Association. Did you notice, Catherine, because I was talking about football, I called him mate.
Yeah, I like that.
Just, being a bit blokey.
Yeah, do you do that to plumbers and electricians?
Yes, I do, but I kind of go down a little bit with a plumber in terms of my class.
Right. What? No, you mean you're true to yourself. You're from Slough, aren't you?
Yeah, I go back to my roots.
Yeah.
All right, mate. Do you want a cuppa?
Oh, you do that?
Yeah. Do you want a cuppa? I've only got.
Builders.
I've got builders. Well, he's a builder technically.
Yeah. You don't say. Would you like a chamomile or maybe?
Do you want some red bush? No, that doesn't go down well. I've only got Nescafe for the cough.
You don't even have to explain yourself. They don't expect more than that.
Nah. They see the Nespresso and they want a piece of that action. Not to give them an espresso. That's 27 pence a cup. Not giving them that.
Well, they might give you half.
How can you not be amazed by a 4-0 victory over Manchester United?
Yeah, it's good.
But even I'm buzzing on the back of that.
Yeah. Good news.
Wowzers. So I'm becoming obsessed with the In-Betweeners.
Yeah.
You're
about 5 years late, love.
I'm doing it all in reverse. I watched the In-Betweeners 2 at the weekend. Then I watched the In-Betweeners 1 last night, and now I'm going to do the series. Enough good.
Excellent. There's also a series you might want to get involved with called Friends. I think you'll dig it.
I tell you, I don't like Friends, right? The reason I don't like Friends is the bit at the opening titles when David Schwimmer pops up from behind the fountain.
Yeah, what is he doing?
And looks left, he looks right, he looks left. And I thought, that looks rubbish because of that.
They're the earlier ones, so they've got newer...
I've seen 2 episodes of Friends now.
OK, well, try 3.
Yeah, I'm not
and I think this time next week you'll be saying, I've discovered this amazing programme. I'm going to buy the box set.
It is good, but the editing's really bad.
I like the 2... I don't know what we call them these days.
Episodes?
No, the 2 people who are challenged. I like them.
What, Phoebe and Joey?
Yeah.
They're not challenged. They're kooky.
Oh, I thought
She's
they were...
kooky. No, she's kooky. He's a little...
I thought Joey had been in a car accident or something. No, I thought he was... Is he not?
No, he's just a simpler soul.
I like them. The only 2... I don't know what the second episode was I've seen. It was the one that had Richard Branson in. But there's one episode... Yeah, they come to England and Richard Branson's in it.
Yeah. Oh, I missed that.
And Fergie's in it as well,
yeah, she's in it.
From the Black Eyed Peas?
No, the Princess.
Oh.
But the one episode I'd seen, right, years ago, I thought it was rubbish, is where they go to an ice arena and the hockey's on and David Schwimmer gets hit in the face with a puck.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Then,
I like the bit where... I like the one, right?
Hang on a minute, I'm telling the story, mate.
Wait a minute. You want to watch this one?
Well,
where
no,
he goes to get spray tan and he forgets to turn around.
He becomes too forward.
Okay.
Seriously.
But so, 6 years later, I'm on honeymoon in India, and the night that I think a monkey got shot in our hotel, I touched the money, then I touched...
I like the one where Chandler walks in and Joey's cutting Phoebe's cutting Joey's hair around a bucket.
Basically, I got... the last day of the honeymoon in India, I got a very upset stomach, and they were showing Friends, so I was stuck in the room, and they were showing Friends. I thought, I'll watch the second episode of Friends I've ever seen, I might as well give it a go, right? And as I'm watching it, I was thinking, this is all right. And then they went to an ice hockey game, and I'm thinking, he's going to get hit in the face with a puck, and he did. It was the same episode again.
Oh, that's a really great...
The one where Iain watches the same episode twice.
Do you know what I watched on my honeymoon? Mythbusters. We got obsessed with Mythbusters. Have you seen those guys?
Yeah.
There's one that wears a beret.
Yeah.
And they do experiments.
Yeah.
And...
OK. Dennis!
Fancy watching television on your honeymoon.
I know. Well, you...
Oh, you great. I'm sorry.
What did you do on your honeymoon, Dennis? Because television hadn't been invented then, had it?
Listen, there was other things to do besides that, believe you me.
Yeah. What?
And I practiced them very rigorously.
What, taking your socks off?
No. Well, you do it with your socks on, you're great, ninny.
Oh, you romantic, Dennis!
Yes.
It does get cold in the extremities, doesn't it?
Now then, dogs. That's what I rang you about.
Oh, yeah.
What's wrong with putting a muzzle on at one end and a nappy at the other? And that covers both expediencies, doesn't it? Right.
Dog nappies.
Yes, well, I've seen donkey nappies in Spain.
Dog nappies happen.
Where?
They do happen. If your dog is incontinent, you may be provided with a dog nappy.
Yeah. And a muzzle at the other end.
Yeah, the muzzle I'm fine with. The dog nappy, I think, is my first thought is that's awful. My second thought is that's brilliant. A dog nappy.
Yeah.
And why don't you get a horse nappy?
Well, you can get donkey nappies in Spain, definitely.
You've been to Spain, Catherine?
Yeah, I have.
Did you
Never seen a donkey in a nappy, no.
Well, it depends where you go, you see.
Well, where they have donkeys?
No, it's a matter of the place you went into. It was you had to go through a tunnel to get into this village, which was on the end of a promontory, I think.
Oh, are you talking about Rhondda?
Yes.
Ah, yeah.
Help me, Rhondda. That's in Wales.
No. Rhondda.
Rhondda in Wales. So there's a secret village in Spain where you go through a tunnel and the donkeys wear nappies.
Yep.
Wow, the Spanish are insane here.
They didn't want people tramping all over donkey book.
Yeah, well, Dennis, you really have brought the show to a new depth.
And commiserating to Catherine about Manchester.
Yeah.
I'm a Mancunian, but 22 young men chasing a ball of wind around the field has never been one of my attractions.
Well, we know, Dennis, we know what your attraction is.
You had me at 22 young men.
Doing it with your socks on, for goodness sakes. Can we... OK, when we come back, can we kind of just go above the belt line a little bit, please?
Long socks and shorts.
Long socks, did you say? Is that what works for you? Idiot.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
We're just hearing that on the A421 between Buckingham and Bletchley, it's queuing and partially blocked because of an accident between a car and a trailer. It's blocking both directions near Nash Road there. On the M1 southbound, it's queuing there between junction 11 for Dunstable and junction 1 for the Luton Airport Spur Road. And the M25 is looking slow between junction 21 anti-clockwise, between junction 21 for the M1 and junction 19 for Watford, and between junction 17 for Maple Cross and 16 for the M40. Having a look at the A1 into London, and it's queuing southbound at Barnet Lane at the Stirling corner. And on the London Underground now, the Metropolitan line has minor delays now between Chesham and Moore Park because of a signal failure at Rickmansworth. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much. 7:46. It's Wednesday, the 27th of August. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. New rules to curb stop and search powers for police are being welcomed. The MK Dons beat Manchester United 4-0 last night to make it into the third round of the League Cup. And dogs must be kept on leads in public spaces in Haddenham in Buckinghamshire after a cat was mauled to death by 3 dogs. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number. Let's get the weather. Here's Georgina.
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hello there, a much drier, warmer day today. We've got varying amounts of cloud, but some sunny spells. Temperatures reaching about 20 degrees Celsius today, so much warmer than yesterday. And tonight, some cloud building from the southwest. That's followed by some fairly light rain, which pushes northeastwards. That should clear by the morning, though, with lows of 14 degrees Celsius. And tomorrow, a healthy amount of sunny spells for much of the day. Temperatures up to about 21 degrees Celsius, but come the night, we start to see a bit of showery rain. Not everybody, though. And really that's only during the night time. Friday, some isolated showers around. Basically, the further east you are, the more sunshine and less showers you'll get, but it will be a touch on the breezy side. The same goes for Saturday. Still some isolated showers there too, but looking largely dry on Sunday. That's your latest forecast.
Chuggy Muggy-licious. BBC Three Counties Radio's big tour of Beds, Herts and Bucks.
Quite a pleasant market town.
Well, it's at the moment a thriving town. It's certainly on the up.
All this week, we're featuring Aylesbury.
People work well together. There's a nice feeling. There are friendly people. People do smile at each other on the street.
Nestling in the Chilterns. Lots of nice countryside round, you know.
Inviting everyone to where you live.
Very pretty with all the hanging baskets they've done this year.
The big tour of Beds, Herts and Bucks.
The bell came from the old Friary, which gives the name to the Friary Square in Aylesbury.
From BBC Three Counties Radio. Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Sorry? You said something and I was busy. I'm being attacked from all corners. Lee upstairs has sent us a technical note. No, that's just Dennis's phone line that makes us sound rubbish. And I needed to ride the fader. Thank you. Catherine,
didn't pick up on the squeaky chair this time.
No. Catherine, you shouted an instruction at me and I...
Yeah, I mean, I think we need to relaunch... I mean, this is all technical stuff. I'm not sure everyone else needs to hear this, but we need to relaunch the stop and search question.
Well, what is the question?
Well, you asked a question at 6 and you've not asked it since.
No, excuse me? Do you do 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 you do 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 you do 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 do.
Relaunch the stop and search.
Da 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 da. Don't dig a dig a dig a diggle. Dig a don't dig a dig a dig a diggle. Dig a don't dig a dig a dig a diggle. Dig a don't dig a dig a dig a diggle.
Send another email. New email. Dear boss. Really?
Oh, the Rockford Files. Everybody loves the Rockford Files. Oh,
Listen
the Rockford Files. Everybody loves the Rockford Files.
749.
Singing. I want to join in, but I don't know anything.
Name one and we'll sing it.
Getting
Go on, name one.
Beyond.
Let's...
Is that
Love.
the data, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
We could do... Born from an egg on a mountain top. Monkey as funky you never was. He knew every magic trick under the sun. He's the god and everyone can have some fun. Kelly!
Monkey magic. Monkey magic.
Monkey magic. Do, do, do.
I made the mistake of buying those videos.
Yeah, I did. Good once, rubbish after.
Yeah, don't watch them again.
She was a boy. The boy was a girl.
What are you talking about?
And she's now dead.
What?
He went on to become a celebrity chef.
Tripitaka?
Yeah, Tripitaka. Oh, Pigsy!
You couldn't make those now because they did the voices. And do you know one of those voices was...
John Sachs.
Margolese.
Oh, one
Really
was Margot
serious.
Lee's.
Yeah.
She was Buddha, wasn't she?
She was a number of them.
And also Manuel.
Really?
Yeah. Before the controversy. Oh, Pigsy!
Make it bigger. Do you remember that one? Make it bigger. Make it bigger. When he was growing his staff.
Now, I watched my first episode of Monkey Magic, and we're doing old TV shows. What the hell? We're just doing one old TV show. We're doing old Chinese TV shows. It was Japanese, actually.
Yeah.
My first episode, I remember sitting on my mother's lap and saying, Mum, I was like 7, 6. We've got to watch this programme. Everyone at school is watching it.
7 or 6?
I was 6. I think it was 5. Go watch this programme. Everyone at school is watching it. It's called Monkey Magic. It wasn't even called Monkey Magic. It was just called Monkey. First one I watched, where Sandy, the water god, and Pigsy, the pig god...
It's a water monster.
...is a water monster. They drink the water of fertility and they get pregnant!
Yes.
The two fellas get pregnant!
Wow.
With hilarious consequences.
Yeah.
No, it does sound hilarious.
It was brilliant, Monkey Magic.
Wow.
He used to fly around on a pink cloud and beat up demons. You remember Monkey Magic, don't you, Just?
No, sorry, boss.
Oh.
Sorry.
That's that then.
That's that then, isn't it?
Yeah.
OK, listen, Justin, in a second, are we going to play your riddle again? OK, but before that, slightly more serious issues. So we may get to do the riddle a bit later on, we'll see. We've been following the story of a number of Sandy families, you may remember this a couple of weeks ago, who've been told to remove ornament trinkets from their loved ones' graves. The town council left notes on each plot, giving them a deadline to comply, after which time the objects will be binned. Well, this is what happened when Sophie Solaria went to the cemetery a month ago.
I just feel that they might be penalised. Some They come up and find all these cards like this. I just feel we've been penalised.
You feel penalised? He feels penalised, Melanie.
Yeah.
Why does he feel penalised?
Because he's got his mum and dad up here, his brother up here, his grandparents are up here. It costs a lot of money to buy the plots, so at the end of the day we should be able to put what we like on them.
You can tell from that, Justin, that people are incredibly upset.
Absolutely.
This. People putting trinkets and photos and plastic candles and things like that on, and people get very upset when they've been told to move them. Well, since then, the town council have said they'll hold off until after a meeting with the families. I think it was September the 1st they had, but that date's been put back. Something that we wanted to talk to them about, but they wouldn't come on. Well, Justin, you had a bit of luck last week, didn't you? What happened?
Yeah, bumped into the mayor last week. It's been going on for weeks now. The public meeting now due for the 11th of September to take the views of local people. Now, last weekend, when you was away, our big talk was in Sandy, and on Friday, our afternoon show with Helen Lee, we are broadcasting live from the RSPB in Sandy. Now, the mayor of Sandy, Will Jackson, was more than happy to turn up that day and speak about how fantastic Sandy is. This, of course, despite the fact that he declined the offer to talk to you about this big local issue a few weeks ago, and he also declined to talk to me last week when I was standing in for you. So what I did, I turned up unannounced on Friday at the outside broadcast, and the mayor of Sandy, Will Jackson, he did agree to talk to me at last. I actually went to the cemetery first, which is a beautiful cemetery, so I put the question to Will, why were they even thinking about doing this when it's so well kept? Here's what he had to say.
The problem is that so I read on the Church of England website when I've been doing a lot of research into this, it's mainly to do with pots, etc., that can be damaged and broken, ceramic pots, and that's why they ask. And it's also maintenance and health and safety to have things littered all the way down the
You
plot.
say littered, it looks like a fantastic cemetery. I don't get it.
We're very proud of our cemetery, and it is a lovely cemetery. Littered probably wasn't the right word, but to have them down, we like to be able to run our mower straight down, and that's why we like all trinkets, etc., to be left on the plinth of the headstone itself.
So have your staff come to you saying we're having major problems here, that they can't mow the grass? Is that what they're saying to you?
They're not saying that, but it takes
They're not saying that?
That takes a lot of extra time to go around the stream. If we can run the mower straight down the centre of the plinths, it's a lot quicker and a lot cheaper. It's a very emotive subject, I'm afraid, and I have mixed views about it. So we have the public meeting on the 11th, and we're going to listen, and we want to hear the views from both sides of the story, not only those who are against, but those who are for it. So we're listening to both sides before the council will make a full decision on whether we alter our regulations or not.
Do you not think, though, by leaving notices on graves saying, unless you remove these toys, we shall remove them on your behalf, do you not think that's a little bit heartless?
It wasn't handled well, and we're not terribly happy about the way it was handled, but it was a decision that was made by the council, and our staff put it into action. We have apologised for leaving these notices on the graves and the wording of them.
I mean, we're here today at the RSPB. The reason you're here is because you've been talking to Helen about how fantastic Sandy is. You declined the offer to talk to Iain Lee. You also declined the offer to talk to me when I was standing in for Iain Lee. What have we done wrong? Because you're here saying you're representing the people of Sandy, yet you wouldn't talk to us.
If you want the honest opinion, I do not listen to Iain Lee's show, because I don't feel that we are given a fair chance, or any member of the people who talk to him. He will cut them off, he is rude, he interrupts them. So I personally will not listen to his show, and so I wouldn't be interviewed on it.
So that's why you didn't come on. Do you not think that's a poor excuse, though? Just because you don't like the presenter, you won't come on and talk about a local issue? That's pretty bad, isn't it? Come on.
If I thought I was going to get a fair saying, I would have come on, but I knew I wasn't going to get a fair saying.
How did you know if you didn't go on?
Because I have listened to many interviews he has done. I've heard so many people made to look idiots by him that I just wasn't prepared, I'm afraid.
You can only make yourself look an idiot if you are an idiot.
No, I don't agree, I'm sorry.
When do you think this will be decided by? Can you give us a rough timeline? The meeting on the 11th of September, when do you think you'll have some sort of decision either way on this?
It will be done... I've got to think about this when the meeting's full. The full town council meets every 6 weeks, so I would imagine it would be done the decision will be taken within a couple of months, because, as I say, the meetings fall every 6 weeks. I haven't got the diary in front of me, but I would say that within a couple of months we should have a decision which way we're going to go with it.
So if you're not going to come on and tell us the decision, would the Deputy Mayor come on and tell us the decision?
It would be up to him. He's got the freedom to come and do it if he wishes.
If not, will he talk to me?
I don't know.
Oh.
There you go.
Gosh. Well, I would have thought, and we can put this out to the listeners to decide, I would have thought that if you are in a position of responsibility and power, that whether you like someone or not is irrelevant. Hey, guess what? So, you know, some of the people I interview, I don't like them necessarily. I like some of them, I don't like others, but I'm prepared to talk to them. I don't think... I feel I should address a few things. I don't think I'm rude. I do interrupt if people are avoiding answering the question, and I never cut people off. People always come on and they have the amount of time they've been given. Mr. Jackson, I offer you an open invitation to come to the studio. We can book in 15 minutes, and if the interview isn't concluded, in that if there's more stuff that needs to be said in that, let's book him in for half an hour if he wants to come in for half an hour, and I promise I won't interrupt. How's about that?
The thing is, Iain, you know, I'm going to say this to you right now, you know, you are very, very good at your job, and I think that there's certain questions which you will focus on, but you're getting answers for people. Now, people have come to our programme in tears. They've gone to their loved one's grave, and they've seen these messages saying that you need to remove your toys and your trinkets, and if you don't, we shall remove those for you. That's upset so many people. That's why people have come to us. That's why we wanted the Mayor on the programme to explain what was going on.
Okay.
It wasn't there to make him look stupid. We just wanted to get answers for people that have come to our programme. Regardless whether he likes you or not, I believe he should have come on 4 weeks earlier.
Well, and also, Justin, I don't make people look stupid. People make people look stupid.
As I said there, yeah, absolutely. I think you'd only make yourself an idiot if you are an idiot.
We'll speak to you a little bit later on. Catherine,
yes.
Let's offer Mr. Jackson an open invitation.
Sure.
He can have half an hour of the show, which we only ever give to Tina Beloved Powerful, or whatever she's called. We'll give him half an hour of the show. I promise I won't interrupt him. I will bite my tongue, and you can tell me off if I do interrupt him.
Right.
And we will let him... He can even come up with the rules of the conversation. As long as I'm allowed to ask him what I want to ask him, he can come up with the rest of the rules.
It's not even a particularly... I mean, we've covered some contentious things in the past. It's not even a particularly contentious one. We just want to hear what you have to say about it.
We've just had people in tears.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. If it was something that wasn't maybe quite so emotive, then I'd think, do you know what?
But also, if we felt that they were talking to the people concerned with this, then that'd be another thing. But when we speak to them, they don't know anything about the meeting.
Let's put a call into Mr Jackson today. And we'll say, Mr Jackson, I apologise that you feel like that. I will bite my tongue. I won't interrupt. He can have half an hour of radio time if he comes into the studio. Should we do that?
Yeah.
And he can lay down the ground rules. How's about that, guys and girls? I don't know if Travel's still there. We're a little bit late, but let's see.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Well, there's some problems on the A421 at Kempston. It's partially blocked between the Marshalleys roundabout and Marston Mauritane. That's because of an overturned car. That's causing queues there, affecting drivers from Bedford towards the M1. And on the A421 in both directions at Little Horwood, that's between, it's partially blocked near Nash Road. There's an accident with a car and a trailer. That's also causing queues there. On the M1, there's still problems southbound. It's queuing between the junction 11 for Dunstable and the M1 junction 10 Luton Airport Spur Road. On the M25 it's slow just after Watford, and the Metropolitan line has minor delays from Chesham and Amersham because of the signal failure at Rickmansworth. Samantha Breath, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Samantha. Well squeezed in at the end. Sorry a little bit late, we're not normally, but I thought that was worth pursuing. Let's get the news now. Here's Jane.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
2 minutes past 8, I'm Jane Killick. The headlines: the MK Dons subject Man United to an humiliating defeat. New stop and search powers are welcomed, and new controls for dogs in one Buckinghamshire village.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The MK Dons have thrashed Manchester United. They defeated the Premier League side by 4-0, kicking them out of the League Cup and getting through to the next round. Dons manager Pete Winkleman can hardly believe it.
It was more than a dream. I still, you could pinch me, I might wake up. Did we really dream that? It's absolutely brilliant, and I'm so pleased for the team, and most of all I'm so pleased for our supporters, because this is the kind of game that hopefully in a few years' time people look back and say, were you there? This is history in the making.
A new code of conduct for stop and search powers has been adopted by police forces across the country, but critics say the changes don't go far enough to address the disproportionate number of searches of people from ethnic minorities. Community advocate and former youth worker from High Wycombe, Saqib Deshmukh, says many people see it as harassment.
Unfortunately, from the work that we're doing as community advocates and our research with a number of police forces, but predominantly Thames Valley Police, it's used as a tool for kind of very blunt racial profiling, and that's our worry, that it's not actually being used as a tool for investigating crime. It's being used as a tool to gather intelligence.
South Yorkshire's Police and Crime Commissioner Sean Wright is facing calls to resign this morning following a damning report about widespread child abuse in Rotherham. Mr Wright was in charge of children's services in the town during the time gangs carried out some of the abuse. He has already apologised for failings at the council. A 16-year-old from Watford is due to appear before St Albans Youth Court today, charged with murder. Akil Khan was found injured on Friday afternoon and taken to Watford General Hospital, where he died a short time later. Tony Fisher has more.
The injured 18-year-old was found in Croxley View at around 4:30pm on Friday. A 15-year-old male, also from Watford, who was also arrested as part of the investigation, has been charged with a fray and has been bailed to appear before St Albans Youth Court on the 10th of September. 2 further male youths, who were also arrested as part of the investigation, have been released with no further action.
Local authorities in England say they've been forced to cut back on school repairs because of a shortfall of £1 billion for school places. The government says it has given councils £5 billion to spend on new places. Nurses and midwives from outside Europe who want to work in the UK will have to take a new, tougher test as part of their registration. From the autumn, they'll take an online multiple choice test and a practical clinical exam. Dogs will have to be kept on leads in one part of Buckinghamshire after a cat was mauled to death by 3 dogs. From next month, dogs must be kept on leads in Haddenham near Aylesbury in parks and open spaces. The weather, a chilly start but an otherwise dry day with bright or sunny spells, temperatures up to 20 Celsius. And get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
BBC Three Counties Radio's big tour of beds, hearts and bucks.
Quite a pleasant market town.
It's all about where you live.
Lots of community activities.
All this week, we're featuring Aylesbury.
The history of Aylesbury goes back 1,400 years, so you've got a little bit of everything.
Aylesbury's a really easy place to live. People get on with each other and they let each other get on with life as well.
The big tour of beds, hearts and bucks. BBC Three Counties Radio.
Sugar Muggalicious.
Morning, Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Boy, oh boy, I just scared Kelly good during the news. So good she swore. Lots coming up in the last hour of the show. Keen to get your input. Stop and search, dogs and cats. Milton Keynes Dons 4, Man United 0. 08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Yes, Boyle, your hand is up. You can go first.
We're getting lots of texts. Phil and Dave, 3CR, sat on the A421 towards the M1 at Marston, not moved for 10 minutes, must be a bad one. 4 fire engines and 2 ambulances gone past. I think Dave's talking about the same thing. A421 near Bedford, not moved for 30 minutes. That's from Dave.
Well, let's hope that there's nobody seriously injured.
Absolutely. So just keep us abreast of what's going on there, please, and we'll let travel know too.
Speaking of being kept abreast, we were talking about your squeeze box earlier on.
Yes.
Scott has tweeted me, can he have a go on your squeeze box?
Yeah, if he's gentle. Because they are quite fragile. My children like to have a little go, and after about 2, I will say, that's enough.
Yeah. You going to bring it in tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll bring it in tomorrow.
Play us a tune, isn't it?
Well, I'm not very good on it.
Well,
it's hard. It's two-sided, you know.
Do you know what the thing is? It don't matter if you're good or not. It's the joy of playing music.
Yes.
And I'm going to have a piano tomorrow night, and my neighbours are going to enjoy me playing music in inverted commas.
Neighbours.
Yeah.
But actually, it's true. As an adult, how many of us have actually got a hobby like that? We do by ourselves.
And your solo hobby is your squeeze box?
My squeeze box, I've got guitar, I've got a ukulele, none of which I touch.
The strings are cut off my ukulele and I don't know how to put new ones on.
Buy a new one, they're only 15 quid.
No, this was an expensive one.
Really?
This is
More fool you.
Yeah. But I was having a little strum because the family are away, so I'm just finding myself walking around my big empty house feeling lonely and sad. But I was having a little strum the other day on the guitar, playing some tunes.
Well, my family are the reason why I have no life anymore.
Yeah.
You know, when I'm home, I'm their property.
This is the thing, having the family away. I miss them terribly, la 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 la.
Yeah, but you realise how much time you wasted before you had children.
Yeah. No.
I used to be able to sit and do nothing.
Oh, man, alive.
I used to be able to read books.
I'm watching a television series on DVD. I'm watching a box set. Doing like 3 or 4 episodes a day.
You're toying with my dreams there.
It's wonderful. Do you know what I'm doing today? I wouldn't be allowed to do this if my wife was here. Bringing the rabbit into the house.
Wow.
Yeah, it's cold. I'm going to bring him into the house. I'm going to let him just run around the house wherever he wants. Well, I haven't got a problem with that.
Yeah, well, good luck with that.
What could go wrong?
They gnaw.
Who cares? Let him gnaw.
Phone cables, telecables. Just be careful.
OK. I'll keep an eye. He'll sit on my lap and watch Millennium with me.
Really? You think he's going to be into that?
Yeah, totes. Totes! What could possibly go wrong bringing a rabbit into the... I'm genuinely really excited. I thought about yesterday as I was tricking him into his hutch, and that's the only way to get a rabbit into a hutch is using trickery. I was thinking, do you know what, Benj? Tomorrow, you're coming into the house, you're going to be nice and warm, we're going to snuggle up and we're going to watch Millennium on the telly. That's what we're going to do. 08459 455 555. Talking today about stop and search. Because it's one of those things that always gets... It's quite controversial. Maybe you don't think it is. It's quite controversial because it's generally young black lads that get stopped. And only 10% of those stops result in an arrest. So I guess a very simple question is, do you think that stop and search as it is fair? Is right? I'm guessing if you're a white, middle-class, middle-aged bloke... you've probably not been stopped at all, or only a few times. I was stopped years ago in a car, and they searched the car. You've not been stopped at all, Catherine?
No, my mum has, though. Not because she looks like trouble, but because she looked like a child driving a car.
Your thoughts on Stop and Search this morning? 08459 455 555 is the phone. It's easy when you're a white middle-class person to go, it's all right. Because it's not affecting you, is it? It's affecting young black lads, primarily. Well, the two young lads we met back in May were from Luton, Mika and Nathan. They were complaining that they and their friends were constantly being stopped and searched by police. They told us it was quite usual not to be given a reason and claimed the police paperwork they were given afterwards was rarely filled in properly. Well, these allegations were refuted by Bedfordshire Police. But perhaps both parties will be satisfied by a new code of conduct which has been brought in by the government in a bid to ensure greater transparency. Police advisor Bernard Ricks joins me now. Morning, Bernard.
Good morning, Iain.
Some people we've spoken to this morning see this as kind of just lip service rather than actually tackling the problems with Stop and Search. What do you think?
Well, the government have got a consultation on at the moment, which closes on the 20th of October, so anybody that has particular concerns about this actually can contribute to that. I think the reason that something needed to be done on Stop and Search was quite simply that Her Majesty's Inspectors of Constabulary, effectively those that monitor policing in this country, concluded that 27% of Stop and Search had not satisfied the key requirement of there being reasonable grounds for suspicion. So it was clear that something had to be done, and these are the first steps in making those improvements. It's mainly young black and Asian lads, isn't it, that get stopped? Is it just because they are black and Asian, or is it because the police have a genuine suspicion about those people they're stopping? Well, there's certainly a disproportionate number of young black men who are stopped. It's not quite the majority of those that are stopped. Right. It still remains white youth. But I would say again, it's the conclusion that Her Majesty's inspectors have drawn that over a quarter of Stop and Search did not satisfy that reasonable grounds for suspicion. So there clearly is something wrong with the current system.
And only about 10% of Stop and Search result in an arrest. Is that right?
I don't know those figures, Iain. Certainly there are many stops and searches that result in no further activity on the part of the police. I think a key part that may not have come out in your earlier discussions, though, is the way in which the police are, particularly in Bedfordshire, there were recent announcements introducing body cameras.
Oh, yes.
Which, of course, will also help on this, because it'll be very clear from the video recording whether there has been reasonable grounds for suspicion, and that will allow those who are aggrieved about their being stopped to have actually some video evidence that proves or disproves their case.
Sorry, go on, Bernard.
I was going to say one other aspect that illustrates that this is really something that does disproportionately affect young black men. The person the police inspector who's been chosen to lead on the part of the police for reform of the Stop and Search powers is himself a black police inspector from Leicestershire. And he himself, and you would imagine that a police inspector would be fairly law-abiding, he himself has been stopped and searched about 30 times whilst off-duty officers of other forces.
Wow.
So that's a very considerable number. You would imagine that a police inspector would be law-abiding. The fact that he himself has been stopped and searched 30 times, again, suggests that there's something flawed with the current system.
Bernard, I appreciate your time. I know we kind of grabbed you at the last minute, and I appreciate you saying yes. Thank you for that. That's Bernard Ricks, police advisor. Your thoughts on Stop and Search, please. I'd love to hear from you if you have been stopped and indeed searched. When they do the search, Catherine, what is it? Is it just to turn out your pockets, or are they frisking
I've no idea.
you? Or...
No, I think there's frisking goes on, but obviously it's never happened to me. Maybe someone listening can tell us.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's the same for everyone. Depends what they're looking for, I guess.
Yeah. Well,
sometimes it's just a where are you going, son, I expect.
Where are you going? So I've had a couple of where are you going sons in my younger days.
Do you have to tell them? It's not a police state, is it? I would, because I've got that kind of young white girl thing of thinking the policeman, if in doubt, ask a policeman.
I can't lie to a police officer.
No, exactly.
I can't do it. I become a Vulcan, and if a police officer asks me a question, I'm going off to my mum's.
Yeah. I wouldn't be defensive. I would just tell him.
I'm trying to think if I've ever been... I mean, sometimes the police do have a little bit of an attitude as well, which I don't think helps matters. If these things were being done in a friendlier fashion, perhaps. But I've been stopped a couple of times in my car, and sometimes they've been nice, and sometimes they've been like, they think they're in Chips or something. They're playing Billy Big Boots.
I mean, the opposite side to this, and I think people should be able to wear whatever they want, so I'm just laying it out there. But the other side to this
within
is,
reason.
If you're, swaggering down the street with your hood up, looking mean, are you asking for it?
No, you're not. No, you're not.
Because, sometimes they do, and I understand that sometimes that's a defence mechanism. You've got your hood up because actually you don't want to be bothered by anyone.
You can't stop someone just because they're wearing a hood.
No, but if they're looking mean.
What does that mean? Go on, look mean.
Looking hard.
Go on, do it.
I can't do it, which is why I never get stopped and searched.
You can't stop someone just because I've got a hood on and they look mean. Some people have just got mean faces. You ever seen Tony Fisher?
Oh, yeah, fair point.
Exactly, you see. 08459 455 555. Let's get the travel.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There are serious delays on the A421 southbound. It's at a standstill between Marshalleys Roundabout and Marston Mortain. That's because of an overturned car and is affecting traffic towards the M1 from Bedford. Also on the A421 in both directions at Nash Road, there's been an accident with the car and the trailer. That's causing queues there in between Buckingham and Bletchley. On the M1 southbound, though, it is easing off now after the queues earlier on between Dunstable and the Luton Airport Spur Road. But the A1M southbound is looking heavy around Junction 7 for Stevenage. On the A1 southbound into London, it's queuing at the Stirling Corner still, but on the trains, the Metropolitan line has resumed a normal service now after the delays from Chesham and Amersham after the signal failure at Rickmansworth. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Samantha, is it your first day ever doing travel?
No.
You've been doing it loads?
Yes.
But your first day here?
Well, my first day with you, so I was a little scared earlier.
What were you... Oh, don't you be scared as well, like that silly gentle... How are you finding it?
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Is this the best... What, do you go off do like James Whale and stuff later on?
Oh, not yet, not at the moment.
Don't. Try and avoid the James Whale shift. He's not very pleasant. He's quite an unpleasant gentleman, so try and avoid that if you can.
What if he hears you say that?
He won't, he's deaf. Seriously, honestly, I've heard stories about the way that Whale treats the travel. Just, you're best off out of it. We'll be nice to you here, okay?
Oh, okay.
See you later on.
See you later.
Thank you. 8:17. It's Wednesday, the 27th of August. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. New stop and search rules are adopted by police forces across the country. The MK Dons dealt a blow to Manchester United last night, defeating them 4-0. And a control order has been brought in part of Buckinghamshire after a cat was mauled to death by 3 dogs.
BBC Three Counties Radio. Yasmin Khan on BBC Three Counties Radio.
On Sunday night, I'm taking my show to Milton Keynes.
I'm happy that after getting this far, that a lot of the residents here have actually turned around and said, we really like it.
I'll be live from the brand new Islamic Centre in Coffee Hall.
When we first started out back in 2006, 2007, with just an idea that we needed a centre.
I'll be exploring everything that goes on in the centre, the people who run it, and the people who use it.
It's very much a community centre. That's quite an important thing to highlight. It's not just a mosque.
Yasmin Khan.
Live from Milton Keynes, Sunday night from 6 here on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Jonathan has shown me a picture, the contents of which I won't reveal, but I wasn't supposed to be looking, unless you want to, but I wasn't supposed to be looking at the jumper. But
it's funny because
I did just say, "Oh, it's a really nice jumper you've got on there."
I was just telling you that I've made the plunge and I'm getting a dog.
Yes, okay, that's public knowledge now, is it?
I'm bringing a new addition into my house.
You're bringing a new life into the world.
A little puppy.
Yeah.
And I put a picture of little puppy that will be called Poppy.
Yeah. Poppy.
I put a picture of her on Facebook yesterday.
Put a picture of Poppy
on my JVS Show Facebook page, and it's funny because you, like a friend of mine, picked up on the same thing. Everyone else is commenting on the puppy, and you said, "Oh, I like your jumper."
It is a gorgeous puppy, but that jumper is amazing. Where's that from?
It is lovely. It's from Argentina.
Oh,
I want to get you one.
Yeah, I would actually.
It's from a very nice shop in Argentina.
Marks and Spencer's.
It's called Cardon.
Oh.
I can advertise it because they're not here.
Yeah, exactly.
Cardon.
If you're in Argentina and you need some clothes, then we thoroughly recommend Cardon.
Cardon.
That's
home of the traditional gaucho.
Oh. What's a gaucho?
It's their cowboys they have over in Argentina.
Do they have cowboys? I bet they're rubbish cowboys, though, aren't they?
Well, they do wear flat caps. like your granddad.
That's brilliant. Oh, well, listen,
and espadrilles.
When does the dog come home with you?
Well, you'll know because I've taken a week off.
What, for a dog?
Yes. It's like paternity leave.
Oh, for goodness sakes.
No, it's important.
You're like those adults that take the day off from work because it's their birthday.
No, I still remember when I got my cat. After about 5 days, I was thinking, what have I done? This is a terrible mistake.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to get rid of him. He's terror. I didn't get any sleep. It was awful.
Yeah.
And I imagine with a puppy, it's a bit worse than that. So I thought, rather than inflict you and everyone else on my sleepless bad temper...
Yeah, well, OK, gosh.
Perhaps it would be better for me just to have a few days off, get the puppy settled and acclimatised, and then come back to work and bring it in to see you.
No.
Yeah.
No.
You know, this is, it's almost like a guide dog. It will have to come and support me every day.
People who... there is one exception. There is a dog that pops in from time to time upstairs, which is delightful.
Oh, yeah, but you'll like my dog.
No, I won't. I won't.
Your team and nodding enthusiastically.
Are you not?
You want me to bring Poppy in, don't you? Of course you do.
Yes, please.
No, people who bring dogs in. You're really gone down. You've
been like Paul O'Grady. She can sit on the desk.
You've had no, disgusting, mate. Disgusting.
What?
No. People who take time off, week off work because they've got getting a new dog, and then people who then bring that dog into work. In my opinion, slackers.
What?
Slackers. I know what. I'll bring my kids in, and my cat, and my Xbox when I fancy it. I'll bring my laundry in. I'll just bring random stuff from home. No, mate. It's a workplace.
Oh.
That you bring your dog, chain it up outside.
Right.
Yeah?
Would you say that if it was a working dog, you know, like a guide dog or a hearing dog?
I would like to say it, but legally I wouldn't be allowed.
Exactly.
Exactly. Political correctness gone mad.
Exactly.
It's a hell in a handcart.
I think that Poppy will be a lovely addition to the JVS show.
You are the thin end of the wedge. What's on your show this morning?
Coming up on the Big Phone In this morning, should e-cigarettes be banned indoors?
Yes.
Hate them. So? Really?
Hate them, and I hate the smug people that smoke them.
Oh, gosh. The World Health... You're full of it today, aren't you? Look, my dog, e-cigarettes. The World Health Organisation says e-cigarettes could be as toxic to bystanders as normal cigarettes, and they should be banned indoors. They argue that despite releasing vapour instead of smoke, the devices still pollute the air with harmful chemicals. Hazel Cheeseman is Director of Policy and Research at Action on Smoking and Health. She says there's no evidence e-cigarette vapour causes harm and any regulation must be proportionate. Meanwhile, the Department of Health say they're open to further evidence, but they're not planning to ban the use of e-cigarettes inside anytime soon. Well, from 9 this morning, I want your views on this. Should e-cigarettes be banned indoors?
Yes.
Well, I know what you think. What's the problem with them indoors, then?
OK, because the people who smoke them are really, really smug.
Oh.
We don't know the effects it has. Everyone says, we don't know the effects it has. But the thing that really gets me... I've got 2 boys, 4 and 2, OK? Yeah. I grew up in a smoking household. Smoking was normal, OK? And we've come so far in promoting that actually smoking is dangerous, smoking is abnormal, we've come so far. And then these e-cigarettes, they normalise smoking again, and they say, hey, do you know what? It's OK to be addicted to nicotine, guys. It's fine. And I don't think it is fine. I think it's dangerous.
But realistically, if you've got a mum and a dad who both smoke traditional cigarettes in the house, would you rather they smoke traditional cigarettes or e-cigarettes in the house? If they're going to do one or the other.
Well, I don't think that... You don't need to have that choice. I think if you smoke cigarettes in the house when you've got kids in there, I think that's child abuse.
Right.
I think it's awful. Stop smoking. Stop smoking. If you've got to do it, go and do it in the garden and then brush your teeth when you come in, you dirty, smoky thing.
Oh.
My dad used to smoke around us, and it was kind of normal because it was the 70s and 80s, but I look back, I think, how could he do that to us? That was abuse to do that to us.
Yeah, but he didn't know then.
I'll give you that. Well, we do know now.
In the 70s and 80s.
We do know now.
Well, from 9 this morning, I'd like your views. Should e-cigarettes be banned indoors? 08459 455 555. We'll debate it from 9.
If you hear a whisper, give us a shout.
Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Now, a control order is being brought in one Buckinghamshire village after a nasty incident involving 3 dogs and a cat. The provisional move in Haddenham will see restrictions put on where dogs can be taken and whether they need to be kept on a lead, while a number of people oppose the changes, among them Frida Dorrell, who joins me now. Morning, Frida.
Good morning.
What's your beef with these changes?
Well, to be quite honest, there are orders now on the areas that they're talking about where you're not supposed to take your dog. So what's going to stop the people who do it now from doing it then? Because who's going to police the order?
Well, just because just because these things won't necessarily be policed doesn't mean we shouldn't make them the rules.
Well, what's the use of a rule if it can't be obeyed?
Well, no. Well, I'm sure there will be some authorities at some point who'll be able to step in. It's like, hey, murder's illegal. Don't stop people doing it. It doesn't mean we should legalise it.
No, fair enough. But I think it's all got rather out of hand, to be quite honest.
So your only objection is that it won't be policed?
No, it's not my only objection.
Well, let's hear some of the others.
Well, the people who are dog owners, majority are, responsible and do as everybody would expect them to do. And you wouldn't allow your dog to run on a playing field where kids are going to play football.
But people do, though. Lots of people do.
Yes, but this order will not stop that. I am absolutely positive.
But again, you're going back to the objection being that it won't be policed.
Well, it won't.
But if that's your only objection, so you agree with it in principle?
No, I don't.
Well, this is what I'm trying to get to. What don't you? Apart from forget the fact it won't be policed. What don't you agree with?
Well, there's an area in the village where we have what they call the Vale Harvest Market once a month, which is a grass area. There is a little couple of swings, and there is a little slide. Now, on that Saturday, people take their dogs for a walk, and then they come back to Vale Park Harvest and go round the stalls and buy goods, all the local people who come and sell.
Yes, a market, yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're not going to be able to do that anymore.
Why?
Because they're going to ban dogs from that area.
So dogs will be banned from the area completely, whether they're on a leash or not?
Yes.
Good.
On that area, yeah.
Good. I don't want dogs around food, and I certainly don't want dogs near a swing and a slide.
OK, fair enough.
Because I don't want my boys to be scared or attacked.
You're talking about one attack. Come on.
Where a cat was ripped to death by 3 dogs.
Killed by one dog.
There were 3 dogs there.
There were 3 dogs there, but one dog.
Yeah, and the owner, I'm imagining, was a responsible owner, but she couldn't control them.
Well,
and it just shows you can't. You don't know what a dog's going to do you? That's the thing.
Well, you train your dog properly, don't you?
Well,
if you've got a dog that is a deerhound, is likely to chase something, then you would muzzle it.
But you don't know. But Yorkies can be just as vicious, can't they? They boy oh boy, they can bite.
My what?
Yorkies.
Yorkies?
Yes.
Oh, come on.
Hey, hang on. If you're a 2-year-old boy and a Yorkie sinks its teeth into you, then you're going to know it, aren't you?
I think this is all getting way out of proportion. And to say that the order is coming in on September the 1st is completely incorrect, as I understand it.
So what do you think should be done, Frida?
Well, people should be responsible, and perhaps fresh notices that reminding people that you don't allow your dog on the playing field area, but why not allow your person to take their dog to Vale Harvest and walk round the market? The dogs aren't going to touch the food. Crumpet's up higher than the dogs are. And those children, beginning of this month, we were down there, and there were people down there with their dogs. The little kids were coming off those slides and swings and said, "Can I stroke your dog, please?" Yes, of course you can. And they were having a whale of a time. You're going to stop all that. And you're going to make children more afraid of dogs, which is absolutely ridiculous.
Frida, if these rules come in, will you obey them?
I haven't got a dog, but I have. I foster hearing dogs for deaf people.
Oh, hang on. Why are you so upset about it if you haven't got a dog?
Well, because I had a dog.
Right.
I've got friends who've got dogs, and I sometimes walk people around me. I do sometimes walk their dogs.
Right.
If they're poorly or something.
Okay. Appreciate your time this morning, Frida. Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Interesting. Frida hasn't got a dog.
That was a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, that came a bolt out of the blue. Frida, I appreciate your thoughts on that. I don't think it would make kids... I don't like it when kids go up to people and say, can I touch your dog? Can I stroke your dog? Well, because my youngest is quite scared of dogs, and we're sort of... I don't know why, but we're working on that. But if we see dogs out and they are on leads and the boys are interested, we will go up and we'll have a little look, but we'll stand a respectful distance back.
You asked what the dog's name is?
Yeah.
Isn't it lovely?
Yeah.
Well, say bye-bye now.
Exactly, and that's it. It does make me very uncomfortable when I'm out with the boys in the woods or in a park or a playing field or something, and the big dogs come bounding up towards a 2-year-old. Small dogs come bounding up towards a 2-year-old. It's scary, it's intimidating, and you can send them flying.
It's happened to us before, and it was followed by the owner saying, "Don't worry, won't do anything." Oh, yeah, really? Well, he's miles away from you, so if he does...
I tell you what, if he does do something, he's going to get a kick right in the ghoulies. I would happily kick a dog in the privates or punch a dog in the face if it was biting on my boy. Kelly, you ever been bowled over by a dog?
No.
OK.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There are serious delays on the A421 southbound. It's blocked at a standstill between the Marshallese roundabout and the Marston Mortain. It's stationary because of an overturned car there, and it's causing queues for people travelling towards the M1 from Bedford. On the A421 at Little Horwood as well, it's partially blocked near Nash Road. That's because of an accident between a car and a trailer. That's causing queues there as well. On the A1M southbound, it's looking heavy around junction 7 for Stevenage, and the M25 anti-clockwise is heavy between junction 18 for Chorleywood and 16 for the M40. In Watford, Exchange Road is looking heavy around Upton Road, and on the A1 into London, it's slow around the Stirling corner. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much. Look, I'm all over the place with my timings. Here's the news, 8:32.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
I'm Jane Killick. A new code of conduct for stop and search powers has been adopted by the police, but critics say the changes don't go far enough to address the numbers of searches of people from ethnic minorities. A 16-year-old from Watford is due to appear before St Albans Youth Court today, charged with murder. Akil Khan was found injured on Friday afternoon and died in hospital a short time later. A dog control order is being brought in Haddenham near Aylesbury. It's after a cat was mauled to death by 3 dogs. The weather dry and bright with possible sunny spells. On to football, and the MK Dons have thrashed Manchester United in a thrilling match at the Stadium MK. They kicked the Premier League side out of the League Cup and sailed through to the third round with an impressive 4-0 scoreline. BBC Three Counties Radio sports editor Jeff Doyle was watching.
Here's a Phobie, and Evans is struggling, and Phobie takes him on, still going to Phobie, and Phobie is in here, and scores! 4-0 MK Dons! It's a humiliation for Manchester United, and it is unbelievable for MK Dons.
The final goal there, scored by Benica Phobie, his second goal of the evening. The 2 other goals were scored by Will Grigg. MK Dons manager Carl Robinson says it's a proud moment for the club and the players.
I went in the dressing room and the cameras came in to film 1 or 2 things, and everyone's just sort of in a slight state of shock. It'd be a night that we won't forget for a long, long time. I'm proud of my team. I really am. I'm proud of my football club as well. I think Milton Keynes, certainly, if we went on the map 10 years on, we're certainly on the football map now.
Watford were also playing in the League Cup, but they were knocked out. They lost 2-1 at home to Doncaster. Watford's goalkeeping coach, Alex Chamberlain, was naturally disappointed, especially for goalkeeper Jonathan Bond.
We were delighted, obviously, to get through a really tough fixture at Stevenage and then to get a home tie against a side, in a league below. It should have led for us to going through into the third round, and it hasn't. We're all disappointed, obviously, particularly I am for Bondy. Obviously, doesn't get a chance to play any further games at this moment in time. There'll be other players on the field as well in that situation.
BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next bulletin is at 9.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Morning, Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. You can give us a call. We're talking about stop and search. We're talking about dogs on leads. And we're talking, incredibly, Justin, about Milton Keynes Dons beating Manchester United.
I know.
Football.
It is the biggest sports story of the morning. It's on the back pages of pretty much every single newspaper.
It's mad, isn't it? Because we were talking about this yesterday. It's like, oh, that'll be nice for them. That'll be fun.
Absolutely.
They might get a goal in, but they thrashed them.
I mean, nobody expected this. Manchester United, one of the biggest clubs in the world. Iain, they signed a player yesterday for £59 million.
Isn't that insane?
That shows you just how big they are.
Well, the fellow we had on from the supporters club was saying that all of the Milton Keynes Dons players cost less than a week's wages for Rooney.
I mean, it's staggering.
Isn't that incredible?
Absolutely staggering. And yes, Manchester United, they made changes last night, 10 changes, but they are 2 divisions above the Dons, and that sort of result last night, to put it bluntly, should not happen. I'm actually outside the stadium right now. People walking around here this morning, Iain, in a state of shock. I don't think anybody quite believes what actually happened last night. Howard's with me. Howard, you went to the game last night. Everyone's talking about it. I mean, just sum it up in your own words. I mean, incredible stuff.
Well, it wasn't in the script. It wasn't in the script. It was. We sat there and saw the first goal go in and thought, yeah, they'll probably come back and, give us a good hiding. But when the second goal went in and the third, and then that was it. But we just played them off the park. We was brilliant. I've been watching the Dons since they come here. I've never seen them play that well. Not like that.
And 27,000 people inside that stadium last night. It was rocking. The first time it's ever been sold out. The neutrals that were there last night, they're going to come back, aren't they?
Well, I hope so. I queued like last week for my tickets, and I queued for 5 hours. And I said to my son, I bet half of these that are queuing now won't be coming back after this game. I'm hoping that it will change their perspective on how the Dons play, and it's good for the city as well. It's good.
You're in shock, aren't you?
I still am, actually. Yeah, I still can't believe it, really. It's taken a while to sink in, but in all fairness to Man United, they didn't play that well.
Doesn't matter, you still beat them 4-0.
Oh, definitely. I mean, like I said to my son, they're representing Man United, so I don't care who they are. They are supposed to be a Premiership player, irrespective of whether they play in the first team or not. But it was, quite something. Quite something it was.
Howard, thank you very much. Howard joining us live at the radio car. So that was Howard joining us live. And Iain, I spoke to some fans around 30 minutes ago, again, in shock. Here's what they had to say.
Mark, if you can, try and sum up your night last night. 4-0 at home to Manchester United.
Oh, it was an excellent game. MK Dons outplayed them. Man United's defence were absolutely poor. 4-0. Unreal.
I mean, coming into work today, are you thinking, did that really happen?
Well, yeah. It's like a dream, really. So I woke up. Unreal. 4-0.
Come on, Steve. Describe your evening. How was it? A night I'm sure that you won't forget.
It was epic. To see Man United get smashed was unbelievable.
I mean, going into the game, what were your expectations?
Probably just to see some great Man United players on performance and get a fairly decent win, but it was just incredible. No one expected it.
Yeah, 4-0. I mean, that's the stuff that dreams are made of, isn't it?
Yeah, it was brilliant. Great night.
Justin, you're not a big MK Dons fan, are you?
No, I'm not particularly, but...
Very choice language you were using in the office this morning.
Hey, listen, at the end of the day, I support Luton Town, OK? So I think a bit of jealousy comes into this as well, when another local side like the MK Dons, or when they host Manchester United and they spank them, and that's exactly what they did last night, I'm very, very jealous. Obviously, I'm concerned for my team, because neutrals coming here last night watching a game like that, they're probably going to go again to the MK Dons and not go to another local club like Luton Town. That's my main concern, but certainly you can't take anything away from the MK Dons. Yes, they've got a short history, but last night they put on a display and everyone is talking about them this morning.
Justin, cracking stuff. Thank you very much. We're joined by Kev. Morning, Kev.
Good morning, Iain. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Probably not as good as you. Were you at the game last night?
I was, yeah.
How long did you have to queue for your tickets?
But I must say, I had a marvellous dream last night.
Go on.
We beat Man United 4-0.
No, mate, I'm sorry, it didn't happen. That would never happen. You're MK Dons. You'd never beat Manchester United 4-0. It's incredible, isn't it?
The passion, the heart. They were like warriors out there, the MK Dons. I don't care what Man United put out or whatever they do. Where was the Man United squad last night?
It does seem incredible that a team that can spend, yesterday, just under 60 million quid on a player could get beaten, with the greatest of respect, by MK Dons. And not just beaten, but thrashed.
It was. Take nothing away from the MK Dons. They played their hearts out last night. That's the best I've seen them play. And I will add, I know that this is the best squad MK Dons have had. And I think, well, I know, when they play their faster-paced game, that no one can live with them.
It's funny, isn't it? Because it's on every single back page this morning. Did you ever think that, you know, in your wildest dreams, as a fan of MK Dons, that you'd be all over the back pages for the right thing, you know, for thrashing one of the biggest teams in the world?
Well, that's right. One of the biggest teams in the world. I mean, couldn't they put a second string out to beat the old Division 3? Well, do you know what? I feel sorry a bit for the Man United fans because they deserve better than that.
It is embarrassing, isn't it?
It's terrible.
Kev, can I ask, did you have a drink or two last night?
I had a little run when I got back home.
Good for you. Kev, listen, it's brilliant news, and I think it's great. I can hear it in your voice. Look, you've turned into a 15-year-old.
I tell you what, can I just say, for Carl Robinson, all the backroom staff, all the security last night, even the caterers, it was a bloody marvellous night. It was really good. Well done to all of them.
Well, Kev, listen, it's nice to talk to you. Congratulations. Enjoy your moment. He sounded like proper emotional, didn't he?
Yeah, how thrilled he was because he thanked the caterers.
Oh, well done them, you see. This is why I wish I had religion, and I wish I had football. I wish I liked football. I'll tell you why, I've worked it out. I've been reading some Vonnegut, and he talks about religion, and I think it's the same for sport.
It's fellowship, isn't it?
It's an extended family.
Yeah.
It's an extended family that I certainly don't have, and a lot of people don't have anymore. If you're a member of a church, if you're a supporter of a football team, you've got extended family. You've got people where every week you go and sit down next to people and you can turn to them and have a conversation. You can tap the fella on the front and have a conversation.
And you can tut about the person 2 rows down.
Yeah, exactly. But I still don't like football. But well done, Kev. Look, he sounded well chuffed, didn't he?
You like snooker, don't you? Darts?
Well, I do. Not enough to go there. I wouldn't mind going to a darts match, actually, because that's a bit of atmos.
Yeah, but you have to shout, boring, boring tables.
I could shout that I shout that upstairs, you know that.
We'll sort it out.
I'd love to go to a darts match. Kel, have you ever been to a sporting event?
I used to go to football quite a lot when I was younger.
I went a couple of times. Dad tried.
Yeah. You have none of it?
Not for me.
What sports do you like, then?
None.
People always sound surprised me. What, you into football now? Oh, so what's your sport? Don't really like it.
I don't see the point. I don't like watching things on telly that I'm not involved in. So I don't like watching award ceremonies, party I'm not invited to. I don't like watching people doing clever things. The Olympics was all right. But generally, someone playing a game, good for them.
You don't like watching television with things you're not involved in any television.
I know, but sometimes I do. I like television where you're listening in on someone else's conversation. But someone playing a game...
CCTV?
Must be great fun for them.
Is that what you like?
That kind of telly, yeah.
That's really weird. Pat's in Houghton Regis. Good morning, Pat.
Good morning, Ian.
What you got for us, boss?
Well, we're in a heightened state of, alert in this country due to what's happening in other parts of the world.
Yep.
And we're trying to water down the stop and searches. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
How is stopping young black lads gonna, stop what's going on in Syria or Iraq?
Let's put it this way: if you've got, as the news said last week, we've got over 200 people come back from those war zones on our streets.
Yeah.
They've got family members that may have the same liking for what they've done.
Yeah.
And stop and searching, they may find the intelligence they need to stop further atrocities that may happen in this country.
But they probably won't. There are 63 million people in this country. Finding those 200 by stop and search, it's almost definitely not going to happen.
Well, it's not going to happen if you water it down and reduce the amount of stop and searches you do, is it? It's going to be less likely.
Do you think we should try and cut down on the number of paedophiles in this country?
Well, let's put it this way.
Do you think we should cut down on the number of paedophiles in this country?
Well, I think you should hang them, really.
OK, in that case, we should be stopping all white, middle-aged radio presenters after Jimmy Savile.
You could, you know what? I have no objection for them stopping white, black, yellow, orange.
But they don't, and that's the argument, Pat. They don't. It's disproportionate the number of black people that they stop. Yet Jimmy Savile was one of the most prolific paedophiles in this country. So why aren't more white middle-aged people stopped and searched?
Well, let's put it in a nutshell here. We've got probably hundreds of thousands, if not millions, on our streets that shouldn't be here, that are illegal. How are the police able to sort out the illegal immigrants, which actually come from ethnic background?
But hang on a second. But Pat, answer the question I put to you.
Go on.
Okay, Jimmy Savile was one of the most prolific paedophiles in this country, right?
Yeah.
So why don't we stop more white middle-aged men?
How do we know they're not?
Well, because the statistics say they're not. The statistics say they are disproportionately stopping young black men.
Okay, and what do they say about the statistics on people committing criminality as to their background as well? Or what proportion are coming from those ethnic backgrounds, and what proportion?
I don't know. I'm assuming you have the figures.
Well, I did actually look at the figures about a year or so ago, and I also looked at a front page of a London newspaper, which I brought up last time.
Oh, yeah.
And it did say that, I think it was something like 150 or 160 come from the ethnic backgrounds that were causing the high criminality.
160 what?
160, well, black and Asians, I think it was, and there was only about 20 on their front pages that were put in prison. I can't remember the story exactly.
What was the crime? I don't know what the crime was you're talking about.
Well, they're talking about proportionality of crime committed by certain sections of the community in this country.
Pat, get those figures. I'm setting you more homework because you're good at homework.
No, you were not set me because.
Well, if you refuse it, but Pat, the figures you've given me don't make. I don't know what they don't make any sense out of context.
Well, you got reporters. I mean, change my mind on it. I'd like to.
Well, I've just said. Should we, so that's you're saying that more young black people do gun crime. I don't know if that's the case or not, but let's assume that's true. You still answered the point about stopping white middle-aged men to stop and search to see if they're paedophiles.
I don't mind them doing that.
But they don't. But Pat, that's the thing. They don't do it. They disproportionately stop black people.
Well, they should do it, but...
There we go, so we agree. Thank you.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the A421 now southbound at Kempston, there's one lane closed between the Marshleys roundabout and Marston Mortain, and it's queuing there. That's because of the overturned car, and it's affecting traffic towards the M1 from Bedford. It's also causing queues along the Bedford Southern Bypass now as well. In Little Horwood, the A421 is partially blocked in both directions. That's near Nash Road because of an accident affecting cars travelling between Buckingham and Milton Keynes. Looking at the motorways, the M25 anti-clockwise is busy between junction 18 for Chorleywood and 16 for the M40, and it's very heavy on the A1M around junction 7 for Stevenage. On the A1, though, further into London by Boreham Wood, it's easing off now at Stirling Corner and the CCTV cameras, and in St Albans, though, it's queuing around Catherine Street, and in Watford, the lower High Street is heavy at the Bushy Arches. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Samantha. 8:48, these are your headlines. New rules to curb stop and search powers for police are being welcomed. The MK Dons beat Manchester United 4-0 last night to make it into the third round of the League Cup. And dogs must be kept on leads in public spaces in Haddenham in Buckinghamshire after a cat was mauled to death by 3 dogs. Coming up, your calls, but before that, let's get the weather. Here's Georgina.
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Well, it's a much drier day today with some sunny spells. It will be a little cloudy at times, but still a very pleasant day, particularly compared with yesterday. Temperatures reaching about 20 degrees Celsius. Tonight it clouds over from the southwest, and then we have some rain pushing northeastwards. Now it's going to be fairly light, and it should pass by the morning. I'm looking at lows of 14 degrees. Now tomorrow, a largely dry day with sunny spells, highs of 21 degrees Celsius. Perhaps some showery rain during the night, but not everybody having that. And then a bit breezy on Friday and Saturday. We've got a few isolated showers around, so we won't all see those. But there should be some sunny spells in between. And it's looking largely dry on Sunday. That's your latest forecast.
Ta!
Chuggy-muggy-licious. Every weekday morning.
It went ping.
Did it ping again?
It did about a week later. It went ping again.
Jonathan Vernon Smith.
I just don't know where or what to do now.
I went to speak to this retailer who had told Sue that because the sofa was out of its 12-month guarantee, they didn't have any liability. Well, we all know that's rubbish, don't we?
The JVS show fights for your rights.
Jonathan and I have got the whitest, cleanest overhead door available.
Listen, I'm going to thank your credit card very much for getting things sorted out, and any other problems, you know where we are.
Thank you so much for everything. It took me 7 months to sort it out. You've done it in 2 weeks.
The JVS show, weekdays from 9 on BBC Three Counties Radio. Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
What's that look for?
We've got some texts through.
Go on then, what have we got?
On Stop and Search. Ev from Luton says, how can we still be talking about Stop and Search 30 years after the riots, which were caused partly because of the overuse of Stop and Search? It has to be something in the police force. And another one, this is from Barry. Stop and Search, wise up. Look at gun and knife crime victims. 90% of these seem to be black or Asian and from within their own communities. Thus, this makes sense of Stop and Search on these communities if looking for knives and guns. The fact that not many get charged just highlights that not all are bad in the same way as a few from other communities
Oh,
may be
that's
found
okay
with
then.
weapons, but those few don't make their group all bad.
Hey, that's okay then. If it's the purpose of it is to show that some black people are actually all right and some black people don't deal drugs and don't shoot each other, but it's the percentage, isn't it? There is a significantly smaller number of black and Asian people in this country than there are white people, yet a significantly higher percentage of people who are stopped and searched are black and Asian people. So that's crazy. And we just stop. We need to be clear what we're stopping them for. Is it just to see if they've got guns? Or is it to stop criminal activity? Because I go back to Jimmy Savile. Jimmy Savile was a massive paedophile. He was a white, middle-aged bloke. So we should, if we're trying to do it to stop crime, then why aren't we stopping more white, middle-aged blokes? And Pat, the last caller there, ended up agreeing with me. He thinks, yes, that it's... He didn't quite say it, but what he seemed to be implying was, yes, it's disproportionate.
Well, it's the thing of, rapists...
Hello.
Generally men.
Yes, that's true.
But all men aren't generally rapists.
Oh.
So what do we do?
And it's so easy for white people to say, and people go, oh, blooming liberal, political correct BBC. No, it's a fact. It's easy for white people to say, well, hey, listen, it's fine that young black men are getting stopped, because it's not you that's getting stopped twice a week. If we had a fella 12 times a month, admittedly, that fella was carrying a few spliffs. I don't quite know what his beef was. It was right that he got stopped. I had a few spliffs on me. Yeah, well, good. I'm glad they stopped you then, fella. Stop carrying spliffs.
But and also, if you're caught with those a few times by the same copper, he's going to recognise you.
Hey, it's Spliffy Pete. Let's stop him, shall we?
If you stink of it as well as you walk by the police, because people do that as well. I've seen them walking down the street and you think, hey, listen.
I parked in a car park in Enfield the other day. Boy, oh boy, someone was blazing there. Someone was having a good time.
The thing is, right, these days, most people have been to college. We all know what it smells like, guys. You're not hiding anything.
They weren't hiding anything, and it's called skunk for a reason.
Wow.
It's stinky. Speaking of... No, not stinky. I was trying to do a smooth link and I couldn't. Morning, Peter.
Good morning, Ian. Peace be with you.
I'm sure you smell delightful, am I correct?
Absolutely. I've just had a shower.
Good for you. Good for you. And there's another... Can I just... you'll know this, Peter, because you're an old man like me. Catherine will know this because she's even older than both of us combined.
What? Oh, yeah, older than all of you combined.
Older than all of us combined. In the old days, we didn't have showers in our house. We didn't have showers. What? There was. I remember when Dad installed a Trinitron.
Yeah, we had one of those.
Electric shower.
Yep.
Right. But before that, the only shower we had was those. You remember these, Peter? Those plastic things you used to put onto the bath.
With the rubber suckers.
Yeah, the rubber suckers, and you held it, and that was a shower.
It was rubbish, and they used to rot, didn't they?
Yeah, manky.
You were obviously very lucky because I didn't have a bath when I was a youngster. We never had a bath.
Oh,
I remember having a bath in the kitchen sink.
So do I.
Yeah.
You stand up and somebody throws a bucket or a pan full of water over the top of you.
Where are you from? The Wild West?
No. Almost. I lived a good many years in a Nissen hut, which is a tin hut in the middle of Kent.
Wow.
And No central heating. Well, the central heating was a combustion stove in the middle of the room.
I think he wins.
We had a bath once a week, right? It sounded like the Four Yorkshiremen. Oh, we lived in all bottom of road.
I wouldn't have given for all.
We had a bath once a week. My boys get a bath every night now. It was bath night was on a Sunday, right? And if we'd been particularly dirty on, say, a Wednesday, we'd have a wash down with a flannel. We'd strip off, quite often stand in the kitchen sink, and we'd have a wash down with a flannel.
Squaddy wash, bits and bits.
You still do that, don't you, Kath?
Well, on a birthday, yeah.
Peter, what have you got for us?
Well, stop and search. Yes, in my younger days, I've been stopped and searched many, many times.
Yeah.
Because I must have looked evil. But I remember one time when I was blasting back to my village in Kent, and the law pulled up in front of me because I was doing quite a few knots down the Watling Street.
You were in a boat? No wonder they stopped you.
Oh, it was wicked. Anyway, the policeman got out and he said to me, where's the fire then, sunshine? Bit of a hurry, aren't we, brother?
Yeah.
And I said, well, I'm sorry, officer. I've got to get back to my old village. My old mum's not very well, you see.
Oh.
And I thought, well, if I put on this voice and I act a bit stupid like a country bumpkin, it would just let me go. And he did.
Peter, well done there. And just proving, once and for all, that if a police stop you, it's worth pretending to be somebody else. No, hang on a minute, that's incorrect.
It's illegal.
It's illegal.
Pretend to be someone else.
Who's on the phone now, Catherine? Who have we got?
Martin from Keynes.
Oh, hello, Martin.
How you doing?
I'm all right.
Good.
What you got for us?
Well, I'm just amazed that you had a TV in your shower.
Sorry?
You had a TV in your shower. You said you used to have a Trinitron. I think you'll find that Sony made the Trinitron telly. I think you got mixed up with a Triton shower.
Right, you talk to him, Catherine, while I Google furiously away.
I got mistaken. Because I remember... Oh, I thought I remembered it.
No, Triton showers, Sony Trinitron TVs.
You can ring my bell... Oh, no, you're right, it's Triton, yeah. All right, fair play.
OK, thanks.
OK.
What do we owe you for that, Martin?
Well, half your salary would be nice if you can have a telly in your shower. That'd be good.
I will send you a cheque for 50 pence first.
Oh, hang on a minute. He's phoning us live from the home of the victorious Milton Keynes Dons.
Yes. I was just looking to see if there's any Man United supporters crying in the street, but apparently not.
Did you enjoy... Were you at the game last night?
No, I'm a Chelsea supporter, but I was very much a Don supporter last night.
Plastic fan! Martin will say goodbye to the plastic fan. We don't like the plastic fan, do we? Do we? You don't like any of the fans?
I don't like many people, to be fair.
You don't, do you?
No, I'm very choosy.
What's happened to Boris Becker's elbow?
Tennis elbow.
Is that what tennis elbow is?
I believe so.
It looks like he's got a ball inserted into his elbow. Have you seen it, Kels? You won't be able to see it very well. It's not the best...
You will. You'll be able to see it from space. Look at that. It's like a cartoon one.
No, I can't see it.
Oh. How about if I bring it a little bit closer?
It looks like one of the Bash Street Kids' knobbly knees.
A little bit closer? A little bit closer. Yeah.
This really works on radio. Anyway, that's what happens when you're sporty.
This is why... I went for a 10-minute bike ride yesterday. It took me 20 minutes to work out how to use the pump. I finally managed to do it in the garage. 10-minute bike... I was knackered. It's really hard work. Why do people cycle? We've got cars or feet. I'd rather walk somewhere than cycle.
That's physical exertion sorted.
I like cycling.
Why?
Just like it.
Why?
It just reminds me of being a kid.
Yeah, I like going downhill.
Yeah.
That bit was wicked.
I like doing that thing where you stand up and you have to wiggle the bike a bit going up the hill.
Yeah, trying to get when you can't.
No,
you can't sit down. Sometimes you just got to get up on the pedals and give it.
Oh, for goodness sakes! I've never seen anything like it. You get off and push up a hill.
What? No, don't be lazy.
That's giving up, my friend.
Yeah, I'm a giver-upper, not a taker. What?
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Still problems on the A421. There's one lane closed between the Marshleys roundabout and Marston Mortain, and it's queuing there because of an overturned car. It's affecting traffic from the for the M1 from Bedford, and it's causing queues still along the Bedford Southern Bypass. But on the A421 in both directions at Little Hallwood as well, it's still partially blocked there near Nash Road because of an accident between a car and a trailer. And on the A1M, on checking the motorways on the A1M, it's heavy around Junction 7 for Stevens Stevenage, and anti-clockwise on the M25 it's slow just before junction 16 for the M40. Samantha Breath, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Samantha, thank you. Remember, heed my warnings about James Whale. Right, that's it. That's your lot. Busy show today. Well done, Milton Keynes Dons fans, if you're celebrating today. Justin, cracking stuff. Kelly Betts, cracking stuff. Catherine, you turned up.
Huh?
You weren't listening, were you?
No, what's it?
The show has not finished until now.
Wait, what's
No, now.
No, now.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Yes, now. Good morning, welcome to the JVS show. I'm Jonathan Vernon Smith. It's Wednesday, it's 9 o'clock, and on today's Big Phone In. Should e-cigarettes be banned indoors? The World Health Organization